Devils Rangers game 2 of this second round matchup here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. What is going on, hockey fans? It is, as always, the host of the Devils State of Mind podcast, which covers your New Jersey Devils, Neil Villapiano, alongside my good friends Jamie Langenbrunner, Martin Border, Zach Parise, and Patrick Eliash, and also alongside my co-host Kyle Manifold. We welcome you to this exciting live watch along again, Game 2, Eastern Conference semifinals, as tonight we have the New Jersey Devils down a game taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. And Kyle, I can already tell you're a little confused, so why don't you just have at it here?
Well, first, I'm a little insulted that you didn't invite me first before you introduced your little minions.
I apologize.
As your friends, but that's okay. I was a little confused, not going to lie, when it came on. So I guess my first question would be, when did you acquire all 4 of these bobbleheads?
I acquired these when I was a kid. I think I was like maybe 8 or 9 when I had these, because this is when they were all still playing on the team.
Right.
I mean, Marty lasted the longest. Parise's still playing, at least of now, except he's with the Islanders. But yeah, no, this was an idea that actually my brother came up with. So I want to give him full credit for this.
Right.
And so, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So we have friends. We have even more friends joining us here today.
Hey, who can't talk.
We also, I should mention, we have a special surprise for all of you. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to have to listen, particularly, and this might be giving it away, particularly when certain things happen in the game.
Yeah. So listen.
Listen very good.
Might be a key word to use.
Might be a key word. Also, again, shout out to both of our sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code THPN when you want to get in on all the huge cash prizes. And with the Stanley Cup playoffs going on, the NBA playoffs are round 2, Major League Baseball, spring football. We got the Kentucky Derby coming up, I think, in like a week and change for horse racing. So a lot going on. So make sure you sign up with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of THPN. And again, use our promo code, which you can see in the bottom right corner there, THPN. And as always, bet responsibly. And also a big shout out to Raycon. And if you want the best quality earbuds at half the price of the other big brands, make sure to go to buyraycon.com/THPN. All right, Kyle.
Yeah.
We are here. Game 2.
Yeah.
Game 1 went about as well as Game 1 for the Devils against the Rangers did. Matter of fact, it was the exact same score in Game 2 as well, as the Devils dropped the first game of this series 5-1. Really quickly, big thoughts for both teams going into game number 2 tonight.
Well, for your Devils, it's important that Meier's back. You mentioned the lineup changes that you might have to mention again, just because I understand it's Meier coming back. It's Curtis Lazar being slotted into the fourth line. It's Sharangovich, Boquist, Brendan Smith, and Luke Hughes are the healthy scratches tonight. Got it. Yeah, no, I like Meier needed to come back in. I think we both kind of said that towards the end of game 1, and he needs to be a factor tonight for New Jersey. But yeah, if you're the Devils, it's you have to approach this first period much better than what we saw in game 1 for when Carolina proved it there throughout that whole period. So just seeing it here. And another big factor that's gonna be huge tonight is most goals by defense this season. 59 goals for Carolina was the most in the NHL, and who all scored in game 1? It was Brett Pesce. It was I don't know if Slavin or no, who's 76 there.
Brady Shea was another one.
Was on the board. At least 2 guys on defense for Carolina who were able to contribute for game 1, and that's just something that they're going to hold themselves to as they have all season long, right? So that's one of their strengths that they have, and something that's continuously been working clearly all season. So as much as they lost Svechnikov and Teravainen and all these guys, it doesn't seem like it's too much of an issue when you get your defensemen really contributing offensively. So yeah, like if you're the Devils, you got to find a way to really shut those guys down. They've been on fire all year and into the playoffs, for the most part of it, and if you're Carolina, man, don't kind of fix what ain't broke. You're the ones that have to set the pace again, because you realize you've been here before, and you got to set the pace again here in the first period. So I think that's the most intriguing thing. I'm just curious to see in the first period who's going to come out flying in the first, and who's going to be able to handle the pressure more here in a pivotal game 2.
I think another big thing for the Devils is, you kind of mentioned it, Kyle, at the end of game one, is that it didn't matter how badly the Devils lost. And yeah, they did lose pretty badly. The result is still the same. They're down 1-0. And tonight is an opportunity to still steal a game in Carolina and grab the home ice advantage, knowing games 3 and 4 will be in New Jersey starting Sunday afternoon.
Right.
It's one of 3 games, I think, on Sunday. So tonight is the only game. This is the only game that's going on tonight. So we hope a lot of people are jumping in with us. We already got a bunch in here. And get this, Kyle, they're showing it on the main screen here. Tim Ward, who was a rookie in 2006 and guided the Hurricanes to a Stanley Cup championship, actually just ran the siren. I think that's what they do in Carolina. So, yeah, that siren thing, which I know Vegas does, but Carolina kind of did it first. Hurricanes and Devils now just taking the ice, so we still have a little bit of time here.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, biggest thing for the Devils, Timo Meier is indeed back for New Jersey after missing game 1 due to what they like to call an undisclosed injury, but I like to call he broke his nose. But of course, they're not going to say that because that's hockey culture. Really, for Carolina, no changes at all. Freddie Anderson again in net. It'll be really interesting to see what type of difference we get from New Jersey, especially like right early on. And the other thing is, Akira Schmid, after giving up 3 goals and was pulled early in the second period, is getting the nod again for the Devils between the pipes. Do you like that they went back to Schmid, or do you think maybe they should have switched it up and gone to Vitek for game 2?
I don't think Vanacek was that much of a factor, I think, in game 1, because they threw him in after 3-0. He lets in 2 goals. So I can't remember if one of them was an empty netter. But anyway, no. So there you go.
Yeah, it was. Jesper Foss scored an empty netter.
Hey, yeah, Cam Ward. There you go. I'm getting the siren too. He is cranking that thing. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, he's, oh my God, what a machine.
I know. The national anthem is just beginning, by the way. So again, we still have a little bit of time here. So
they were just showing a replay, I guess, for Cam Ward cranking it.
Wade Minter, the PA announcer for the Hurricanes, is speaking. You guys don't need to know that part. That was totally worthless.
Okay. But to answer your question, I think Akira I think that was going to be the case regardless. He clearly he clearly was one of the major factors of why you guys won the series against the Rangers, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I just think that, you're going to have a bad game here or there. Like, you're not going to be as dominant every single game throughout the playoffs, right? So you have to instill that confidence back in him and just hope that he kind of performs better here in game 2, which I'm sure he'll have a bounce back, and maybe we can kind of transition into our predictions and other people's predictions for tonight.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Kyle, make sure, guys, that you leave your score predictions in the chat and we will star them. And we will give a special shout out to anybody who gets it correct. Hockey Hacks, one of the now 8 different people that have already given their score prediction differently. Abide DATV says, go New Jersey Devils. Stoffel, big Hurricanes fan. Home ice advantage. Stahl going to keep you shut down until they go back to New Jersey. I think that's his big time pick.
Question. When does Luke Hughes come into the series, or does he?
Again, really, really interesting question there. I would love to say that I know the answer to this, but I don't.
Okay. They've been talking a lot about that. That's
we have, and I think a lot of people have spoken about it and saying that it might be time. And I think depending on how tonight goes, there might be a chance we see some changes. Lindy Ruff has kind of brought that up before. By the way, I should remind myself, Hockey-Ack is indeed our good friend Richard Blosser, who is in the chat. Rich, good to see you, my friend. We hope to see you on one of these live watch-alongs very soon, which I'm sure you will be. There's no question about that. My score prediction really quickly, guys. I'm going with the Devils to even up the series and win this one 4-2. Kyle, what do you got tonight?
So I think the series still goes 7. I think Carolina wins tonight.
Okay.
I just think that's such, just watching them in game 1, and I know I understand that the Rangers did the same thing. I just think it's a different animal for these guys. I like Carolina tonight. I'm not counting the Devils out of this series at all. I like Carolina to win this game, though. I want to say final score. I think it might be another high scoring affair. I like it to be 5. I'll say 5-3.
All right, so this should be an intriguing one. Do the Carolina Hurricanes grab a 2-0 lead heading to New Jersey, or do the Devils steal this game in Raleigh and go back to the Garden State with the home ice advantage, with games 3 and 4 being played in New Jersey? We are going to find that out. Again, Kira Schmid and Freddie Anderson is our goaltending matchup. Here we go. As the players are at center ice, so is the referee. The puck is dropped, and game 2 of this Eastern Conference semifinals between the Devils and Hurricanes is officially underway as they throw it in front right away, and Schmidt makes an early save just 10 seconds in. The Devils will dump it in, as right now the BMW line is on for the Devils of McLeod, Bastian, and Miles Wood. Is now gives over to Severson, walks in, shot, and that one through traffic just goes wide of Freddie Anderson. Maybe it got on net, not sure. But nonetheless, the Hurricanes get it, and they'll flip it out of the zone. So right away, Kyle, both teams, pretty good opportunity in the first 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, just, again, nothing to really dive too deep about. But yeah, no, it's a good start for both teams. It's what you expect. I think both teams understand that both of them want to get off to that fast start, right? So you're kind of seeing that right away, and it's kind of what you expected.
Absolutely. And we should also mention that the BMW line of Bastian, Wood, and McLeod was by far the best line for the Devils in game 1, which is not really saying a whole lot, but they did score the only goal. Nate Bastian got it, his first career playoff goal. So we'll see if the fourth line can continue to bring some energy as we get a stoppage in play for a face-off.
I love this comment for Donnell here. I love it because I think it was true. I think Anderson got off fairly easy in game 1. So you got to pepper whatever shots he can on net for him. And again, it's not Shesterkin. It's just Freddie Anderson. So
yeah, no, there's no question about it. I think that the Devils definitely do need to add a lot more pressure. And there is the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Rob Brindamore, who continues to have that nice little patch of silver hair. I don't know if I guess that's by design on the top of his head. It actually looks kind of cool. Yes. Hurricanes at home in the playoffs, Kyle, last 2 seasons, they are 10-2, which is the second best record over that span since the year 1990. I don't know who was first on that. But, icing here against Carolina. And there is Timo Meier rocking what I like to call the fishbowl. Fishbowl face mask, as they show a replay of Jacob Trouba being an asshole. The big-time hit on Timo Meier. And again, Meier missed game 1 because of the injury he sustained. And he is playing. The reason is because we see him on the ice or on the bench.
Yes, he is playing tonight, yes. And you mentioned Rod Brindamore being on the bench. I think there's somebody on the bench tonight who's a Jack Adams finalist that we mentioned.
Yes, there is. It was announced earlier today, as now Jack Hughes, I'll say it in a second, Hughes comes in with a shot, and that one's deflected to the left corner. Lindy Ruff was named a Jack Adams finalist for Coach of the Year, along with Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the Boston Bruins, and Dave Hextall, the coach of the Seattle Kraken. And only 2 of those 3 coaches are still in the playoffs. So I guess, Kyle, really quickly here, who do you think is the favorite? I know it's a regular season award, but I am really curious to see who you think is the favorite to win Coach of the Year right now.
So I think Jim Montgomery will more than likely win it. I think it should be Haxtell. To be honest, I think nobody really had Seattle kind of making it, because I think a lot of people had these guys making the playoffs and not Seattle. But I think what he's done there for those guys, for a lot of the guys on the team, they kind of mentioned it where there was only 4 guys on that team who have won the Stanley Cup before, so they bring in that veteran side to it, and they're just good all the way down, and they have such a great season. So if I had my pick, I would probably go for him, but I would imagine that Montgomery will probably get the nod. Not to say that Lindy Ruff hasn't done a good job either.
The big thing for Lindy Ruff is that not only did he obviously guide the Devils to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, the 49-point turnaround from last year to now is the second biggest, or I think it's certainly top 2, biggest turnaround points-wise in the Stanley Cup modern era. There's a shot there in front by Timo. It's stopped and covered by Freddie Anderson. Good early test for Timo, but Anderson comes up with our first, technically, save of the night.
So my question here for Meier is, and I know we talked about it, where he might have some sort of breathing issues, if I'm correct. Oh, sorry. Where he might, understand, he's trying to, especially on the ice and all that. Do you think fatigue would come into effect if as the game continues and if it goes into overtime, like because he's not breathing properly, or am I acting crazy here?
I honestly think it could be a factor. I mean, also, look, the Devils are coming off a 7-game series, so he's probably already pretty exhausted. By the way, I should also mention, not only does Timo have a broken nose, he has a pretty nice shiner under his right eye, too. So he really bore the brunt of that one. As that puck pops up in the air, nobody can find it. Eventually, the Hurricanes get to it, and they'll clear it out. But, yeah, I think Timo, it's going to be kind of taking it for him, probably one shift at a time, see where things go.
Right.
I think, and you mentioned it, Kyle, I think that, he saw how the Devils really struggled without him in game 1, and I'm sure he's just very determined to obviously make a big impact and help this team, help the Devils here in game number 2, because like I said before, I think they sorely missed him.
Got it. So far, though, it's been a good start. New Jersey's kind of neutralized Carolina's attack a little bit. They're just, and I think that's the important thing that Danelle mentioned earlier, that you got to get some more shots and more attempts, because they only had, they were under 20 shots there in the first game.
Nico Hischier gets knocked down hard, and it is going to be a penalty against the Hurricanes. It's going to be a trip. But I got to be honest with you, Kyle, that looked knee to knee, and Nico is gingerly making his way
to
the bench.
Yeah.
I think he's okay. He nodded to one of his teammates saying, "I'm good." But yeah, I mean, he's looking, but I think it's just gonna be 2 minutes, unless they're gonna say knee on knee.
Yep. And then I just wanted to say here, they said if he could not breathe that good to play, he said he would not put him in this game unless he can breathe properly. So that's probably an indicator that he's still breathing okay. So that's good to know. I just wanted to bring that up because that's important to know.
No doubt about it. Jesper Foss gets, I'm going to assume, 2 minutes for tripping. Yes, it's a 2-minute power play. So the Devils, 0 of 13 were they on the power play against the Hurricanes in the regular season. They were 0 for 2 in game 1. So obviously the Devils power play has to get going. And it wasn't that good even against the Rangers in round 1.
Now you show who's on the ice. Andre Palat being out there. I love it with Bratt, Hischier, Hughes, and Hamilton. It's a good power play unit.
Yeah, it's a very solid power play unit. They also showed a statistic earlier, by the way, is now the Devils with the puck behind the net. Bratt now over to Jack Hughes. Hughes gets it top of the point to Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton throws it into the right corner to Bratt. Bratt now over to Palat. Palat, Bratt to Bratt. Now a drive from Dougie Hamilton. Now one stop by Anderson. Rebound try is blocked in front. Nico now with it. Gets to the Dougie with a drive, and he rang it off the post. Oh, Dougie Hamilton. He definitely beat Freddie Anderson, but he didn't beat the post. Beautiful opportunity there early on this power play.
Yeah, Carolina's 95% in the penalty kill these playoffs. It leads all teams, but no, right there, it's good. You're peppering some shots early on Anderson, and you need to make him work for it tonight.
No question about it, as the Hurricanes are trying to get it out of the zone, and they cannot, as Dougie keeps it in, gets it over to Palat. Palat trying to backhand it over to Bratt. Both teams whacking at it. The puck comes out. Now an opportunity shorthanded for Seth Jarvis. Spin around, tucks it, and Schmid has to make a save. Aho keeps it in for Carolina. Drive by Slavin. That one's deflected wide by Aho. Aho gets slowly tripped up. I mean, it looked like, I think he was just bumped. I thought maybe they were going to call something, but 35 seconds to go in the Devil power play. Yeah, I mean, once again, it doesn't really look like the Devils can generate much of anything. And I think it's a combination of not just Carolina's defense being great, as as Tatar gets hit up high with a stick from, I think it's Martinook. And so the Devils are going to skate 5-on-3 for the next 23 seconds. So discipline not going well so far for Carolina.
I thought it was an elbow initially. But I guess
we'll see
might have a better view. Yeah, we'll see it.
No, he got him with the stick. His helmet nearly comes off on that one.
Frick. So there's probably going to be no blood on the play. But
they called it 2 minutes, by the way. 2 minutes, only 2. So no blood.
This is so important for New Jersey, though, because you have to, now you're given another opportunity, because now you're not the ones taking stupid penalties. They've kind of cut that down for the first couple minutes of the first. Now you got to jump on it.
So now this is the opportunity. This is the moment where with 23 seconds to go in a 5-on-3,
right,
you got to just win the faceoff first and obviously get pucks to the net immediately. Don't try to set something up. Don't try to be cute. as soon as I say that, the Devils are trying to set something up cute. As now Jimmy Hughes gets it over to Dawson Mercer, now to Hughes. Hughes walks up the zone, waits, gives it over to Nico. Nico's still with it, gets to the Dougie, back to Nico. Nico, over to Jack. Hughes with a shot, and that one's fought off by Anderson. 5 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Hughes over to Hamilton. Hamilton to Nico. Nico throws it in front. Scramble in front of the crease. Puck is still loose, and finally Anderson sits on it.
Oh, good pressure, though. You still got a minute 36. No reason to panic. It was a good pressure. Good save by Anderson. I mean, he's kind of stood there on his head early, but you still have a minute 36, so you're still in their zone. You might want to switch it up, get the second power play unit out, probably involve Timo Meier a bit more. But overall, I think it's shown why Carolina has been the best team on the penalty kill this postseason.
And not only best penalty kill, but best defensive team overall. I mean, you saw that a lot in game one. Just really, the Devils just couldn't generate a lot. And that's the strong suit of Carolina, that yes, they're without a bunch of their star scoring players, but their defense is still healthy and very strong. And so far they've done a pretty good job. 5-on-3 is now done. Devils still have a second power play now with a minute 36 to go on it as the zone comes out. Wait a minute. Did they? No, okay. I thought maybe they called a face-off violation or something because Holla's arguing with the ref, but it's tough to tell. Right. So, yeah, obviously, I think that was a pretty good 30 seconds or so of a 5-on-3 for New Jersey, but obviously you would have liked to see them score. But let's see if they can do something here on now already their second power play of the night is Severson. Chips it around, gives it to Brett, to Tar, gives it to Brett, shot! That one is stopped by Anderson. Aho will get it, and he'll just take it out of the zone and then clear it. So, point-blank chance for Jesper Bratt at the doorstep, but Anderson shutting the door. Good stick pad save there.
Yep, good. Still, though, it's good chances that they're operating here, especially. I think it's their second power play unit, right?
This is their second power play unit on right now as the puck comes out of the zone again, cleared. About a minute to go on the Devils' second power play. 0 for 1 already, had a 5-on-3 that now is a 5-on-4 as Holla will dump it in behind the net and now gets over to Brady Shea, who can't get it out. Devils bunched up on the right side. And finally, the Hurricanes get it. They might have a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here come the Hurricanes. They'll dump it in. Pesci will actually. Now Severson will go and control it for New Jersey with 40 seconds to go on this 5-on-4 man advantage. And I think this is a big moment for Carolina to kill both of these off, considering how the Devils can be dangerous if they got the puck beyond their own zone.
And only 3 shots on goal. 4 shots on goal, excuse me. They just had to update that. So, I mean, bit of an opportunity there you don't want to take and, that you have to kind of capitalize on. 1 shot on goal in this first period in game 1. So, good save there by Anderson.
Yeah. Sorry, I think Anderson might have gotten a piece of that save, that shot, excuse me. Should also mention, the Devils are already doing a lot better in terms of shots on goal. Yep. Granted, they had 1 shot on goal the entirety of the first period in game 1. They have 4 at this moment, as we'll see again on the replay. Timo Meier, I should mention, Kyle, already 2 shots on goal just about 7 minutes into the game. I think he looks like he hasn't missed a step. And I know he only missed 1 game, but still.
Yeah, but again, we can say that as much as we want, but at some point he's got to find a way to get on the board because he has not done that yet this postseason.
Does not have a single point so far in these playoffs. And the big acquisition in the trade deadline, obviously the Devils brought him in not just for his physical play, because he does bring a lot of physicality, but certainly his scoring. That's the number one thing. Is now the Devils' 4th line is on right now in the last 5 seconds of this power play. Carolina gets to it and clears. So the Devils, despite having an abbreviated 5-on-3, but having 2 penalty power plays, they do not score. So it's still scoreless here. And boy, the rally towels are out now as the Hurricanes faithful cheering on their Hurricanes after a job well done on the penalty kill. As now Carolina comes up the boards. Pesci with the puck, throws it, and that one is kicked aside by Akira Schmid. Hurricanes keep it in. Nason now loses it. Devils trying to get it out, and they will, as now Wood gives it to McLeod. He touches it, and it'll go all the way down. No icing here.
Okay. Now you expect, I think, a Carolina push here because they've been waiting a little bit too long now. I expect a little bit of a push here as they go up ice.
There's a high-rising shot there by Carolina's fought off by the shoulder of Kira Schmid, and then Bratt trying to create a chance as now a player goes down. Both teams kind of falling down a little bit. Bratt now with the puck. Jesper Bratt weaving his way through, looking to try to get a step, loses the puck. Jesperi Kotkaniemi makes a long feed just out of the reach of Jesper Fast, who would have had a partial breakaway. Nico takes it into the zone. Hischier flips it in front. That one stick lifted away. Now a tuck there by Graves is stopped by Anderson. Oh, he tried to surprise him. Palat, now to Nico Hischier. Hischier takes a shot that gets blocked into the left corner. Bratt, now we'll just dump it around to the other side to Palat, who's now being checked along the boards. Still with it. Palat, still fighting along here. Dumps it behind the net. Nico gets to it. Now over to Jack Hughes. Hughes fighting along here with Jesper Fast. Puck comes out. Now gets a Siegenthaler that once thrown in front, but it's blocked. Hurricanes have to get it out here, and they finally do. The Devils trying to come back. It's intercepted by Stastny. Drops it to Martinook. Martinook with a shot that gets blocked. Backhand try pops up and out of play. So, just about 9 minutes in, we already have some really good chances, particularly from New Jersey. They've had 2 power plays, but have not cashed in. Still no score here. Game 2, Devils, Hurricanes, here in this Eastern Conference semifinals.
Take a break for a sec here. Your thoughts so far?
That's my thoughts. I honestly like the start. I really do. You're
really?
seeing Devils, yeah, no, I really, really do.
Good. I like that.
I feel like the Devils definitely are getting back to their game. I think they're getting, they're creating chances. They're getting pucks to the net. They're getting shots. They already have, I think, almost 10 shot attempts already, and you like to see that. Carolina's playing a little bit on their toes, but a good job by Carolina, particularly to block shots. That's one thing that they do a really good job of. But I think if you're New Jersey, you just got to keep pushing here, because right now you are putting all the pressure on Carolina. They're playing back, and they're trying to just prevent themselves from giving up a goal. They've already taken 2 penalties.
Yep.
Obviously, you would have liked to score on at least one of those if you're New Jersey. But I think overall, I like the start from the Devils. Certainly a lot better than game 1.
Yeah, and I at least like the start. Don't want to obviously knock on wood here, but at some point, do the Devils get the message finally that, okay, guys, we got to stop taking stupid penalties, and we just got to focus on make sure we're moving the puck, making sure we're going back to our cadences, right, and just ultimately making sure that we're just going back to the game, to what we were used to doing, right? So it means setting up well in the offensive zone and playing really good defense is especially what I saw through the end of the series against the Rangers. Blocking shots and just getting back to the fundamentals is what they really need to do. So, Connor asking a quick question here. I know we missed a couple of guys. I'm sorry about that. Imagine bad boy Matt Tkachuk goes and wins it all. That guy is a problem. Man.
Matthew Tkachuk is, right now, I think he's my favorite to win the Conn Smythe, just the way he's been playing. That's just me. Yeah, I mean, right now, this is about as low as you can be if you're Toronto, which, granted, they've been through a lot of lows, so this is nothing new for them. But
there's no shot.
Now they go to Sunrise, down 2-0. I know that the Devils did it earlier this year, this playoffs, but I think it's a little bit different. As a shot there from Carolina gets blocked as we're back to play. I don't know. It's going to be a mountain to climb if you're the Leafs going now to Florida, already down 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm happy for Tkachuk too, but at the same time, I'm like, why couldn't you have done this when you were in Calgary? Like, he took too many goddamn penalties, and it's like, oh, we finally learned our lesson, and now he's like Conn Smythe Canada, and it's like, great, whatever.
It sucks when like a player finally learns from their own mistakes, but it's like they're on a different team, and that's what they had to do to figure it out. And it's like, why couldn't you have figured it out when you were here?
Right. And like, I understand people saying, oh my God, they won the trade, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, guys, we didn't have a choice. Really.
That's a good point.
We didn't really, like, he wanted to go. Like, we had to kind of oblige by that, right? So, anyway, as Carolina gets in the offensive zone here.
And here come the Devils now the other way as Mercer will flip it in. Don Koharski is a rules analyst for TNT. Wow. As now a partial breakaway for Kotkaniemi. He stopped, drops it off now to Fost. Fost gives it over. Shot there by the Hurricanes. It's stopped. Rebound try is covered by Schmidt off a shot from Kotkaniemi.
Unbelievable by Schmidt. Man, that was a friggin' rocket by Kotkaniemi.
So we'll see it again on the replay. Wow. Who took the shot? Oh, it was Martinook. Wow. Jordan Martinook.
Oh, sorry.
He is all over the ice so far tonight.
Sorry, Kotkaniemi got the second shot, but almost got 5-hole there. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was, I think it's fair to say, and again, I know, like, again, it's early, but it feels like to me Akira Schmidt's kind of resettled back in. after game one. He
Yeah.
seems a little bit.
Didn't
And
we just
granted,
have
that was the
commercial-
first major opportunity for Carolina in this first period.
Right.
But still, 2 good saves there from Schmidt.
Didn't we just have a commercial break like 2 minutes ago?
This is the problem now that, like, because we went so long to start the game without a break, then we have multiple like mini breaks in between, which is like a joke. I don't know. They got to get their look. They got to get their commercials in.
Oh, of course they do. I remember, if you guys listen to Spit and Chicklets at all, which some of you might, Colby Armstrong is between the benches tonight. He's between the benches. That he was just mentioning it, so I thought I'd just
as
point that
well.
out.
I think he played for the Kings in his career. I know he played. I remember him specifically with Pittsburgh because he scored a goal, I believe, in the Winter Classic, the first ever Winter Classic. I think he did.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive Armstrong played for the Hurricanes at some point in his career.
All right, let's do trivia here. Colby Armstrong has played for 4 teams. Can you name all 4?
So if I name a team, are you going to tell me I'm right or not? Or you just want me to guess?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Carolina.
No.
Oh, who am I thinking of? There might have been another Armstrong that played.
There is one team on here that has not played, that isn't in the NHL anymore.
Atlanta Thrashers.
There you go.
There we go. Winnipeg Jets / Winnipeg Jets. Also, by the way, Ryan Graves has a pretty good cut on his lip. I don't know where that came from. Looks pretty new. Anyway.
So Toronto. Toronto's the other one, obviously.
Toronto's okay. So we got what? We got Atlanta, Toronto, Pittsburgh.
Yes. And another Canadian team.
Cabs.
Yes. Good job.
Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. There you go. That's pretty good. You got to admit that's pretty good. But again, you kind of helped me there. I'll give you you gave me some hints, and that made it a little bit easier.
Yes. If he wins the cup, it should annoy the hell out of you. It all started when he decided to I'm leaving Calgary.
Oh boy.
Not like yes and no. Like, yeah, okay, sure, it would be annoying. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, I'm glad that he left. I'm glad he told us. Because if he didn't and he had to walk just like Gaudreau, we wouldn't have had anything back in return. Right? So in a way, I'm like, okay, well, the thing is that, look, he was an RFA. He fulfilled his contract. He's allowed to go to do what he wants, right? So I respect that. And I respected that for Gaudreau too. He's a UFA. He fulfilled his contract. He can go do what he wants, right? Like, you don't have to be upset that all these guys should stay on your team for the next generations. And I understand the history of it, but this is hockey, man. Players leave teams all the time. And, yes, it would be annoying, but I can't be mad at him for not wanting to go. Right?
No, I mean, it makes sense. Like you said, he filled his contractual obligation, and he did a lot for Calgary. I use this guy as a good example here, Zach Parise.
Yeah,
Zach Parise is a good example. Zach Parise, he helped the Devils. He got to the Cup final in 2012, and then when he became a free agent, he decided he wanted to go home. Now, part of that reason was the fact that his father was unfortunately on the verge of passing away. The late AP Parise, but he wanted a chance to play in his hometown, and he got the opportunity to play there, and he got paid pretty handsomely.
You think?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Minnesota's still paying for that.
Oh, they're so screwed.
A little bit. Is there? Boy, I got to tell you, Kyle, they love talking about Jack Drury. I don't know why they like talking about him. And Jack Drury, again, I mentioned, he is the nephew of current Rangers general manager Chris Drury. I think we confirmed that in the last.
Svechnikov, Teravainen played respectively 64 and 68 games this season, and so Teravainen only had 12 goals.
Yeah, Teravainen had a really. The funny thing is that, and I know a lot of people are not everybody's like a huge fan of the Lakes. There's a tough job there from Martinook is stopped and covered by Schmidt, and Jesper Foss' helmet comes off.
Differently asked earlier too who our MVP candidate was. Jack Hughes for MVP. I know you would love that. I don't see how.
I'd like to think that he's going to at least be a finalist, but I think he missed a couple of games earlier when he was playing really well, and I'm like,
right. I imagine the finalists are going to be McDavid's probably going to win it. Let's be frank. Pastrnak, yeah. Or I was thinking, I don't know what Draisaitl's numbers were this year. Or I would have considered Tkachuk.
That's not bad. Kachuk, I think Kachuk for me is definitely a finalist in my opinion.
Yeah, and then maybe it's a toss-up between, I don't know what Draisaitl's numbers were compared to Pasternak's, but that can be whatever, up for debate. But either way, it doesn't matter because McDavid's going to win it. So
that shot there from Burns is fought off by Schmid. Now Nico Hischier gets it, flips it, and Dougie stays on side somehow. I don't know how he did that. Yep. Dougie playing like a forward because that's what he does. As now he's way out of position. Hurricanes look to come the other way, and Brent Burns will just slap shot that around the boards into the Devils' zone. Devils trying to chip it out, and oh boy, somebody took a tumble. I think that was Seth Jarvis who fell down there.
How many times have we watched the game this postseason and people just start falling all over the place?
I was going to ask people because I've watched some other games. Why it's weird. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's the general in these games. I don't know.
Yeah, Dylan's saying, "What's up? What's going on?"
What's going on, Dylan? Good to see you, boss. Good to see you.
As always, boss. Dylan, predictions for tonight?
Yeah, I was hoping that he probably will give one. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be nice to me. Maybe he won't. Who knows? As John Marino falls down, and then Aho almost got a skate blade to the face. Oh, maybe he got nicked. I don't know. It looked like
man, off topic. Did you see Mahura for the Florida Panthers yesterday?
I did.
Oh my god!
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I missed like the rest of the game. Did he come? He came back, right?
Yes.
He got stitched up and kept playing. Yeah. So you don't see that in other sports.
Yes. Real quick, I'll get back to Connor's statement in a second, but Dylan just mentioned he has a funny Colby Armstrong story. Interviewing his brother on my old podcast, and Colby crashed the interview just hammered out of his mind.
Nice. Who's his brothers? Whoa, Kevin Ball gets rocked in front of the bench there. Wow.
Who is his brother?
Is it Riley? Is that the Armstrong I'm thinking of? I'm thinking the last name sounds familiar to me. I feel bad that I feel like I should know this and I don't.
I feel like it is Riley. No?
I think it is
Riley. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it is Riley.
Okay. I was right. It is Riley.
It is Riley. Yes. Yeah.
He's a coach now. Okay. And Dylan, while you're there, because I'm sure you can answer, did Riley Armstrong play for the Hurricanes? I swear to God, an Armstrong played for Carolina. Like, I'm dying on this hill today saying that.
He signed an 8-year, $64 million deal. It is an average annual value of $8 million. 20-year-old center is playing the final season of his old contract. Maybe is that what he's trying to
well, this is the first. Well, let me correct that statement. This is the first year of his 8-year, $64 million contract.
Understood. Okay, got it. But why Gaudreau got
by the way, Calgary looks like a steal right now comparatively to what he's been doing.
And it's only year one. It's only year one. He'd given many good seasons in red, and that treatment was a bit uncalled for. I understand why it was back and forth with Gaudreau, but again, like I don't blame the man. He fulfilled his obligations, and he had a wish to be closer to home, so he chose 10 hours away from it.
Right, because Kachuk is originally from St. Louis, right?
He's from St. Louis, yeah. So.
And Gaudreau is there. Now Jack Hughes gets around. Backhand try, and that one just goes wide of Anderson. Wow. Opportunity there for 86. I don't think he actually got a shot on. He did go wide.
Right. And Dylan saying he only played 2 NHL games. He's an assistant now.
Okay. When we go to when we go to commercial break for the intermission, I'm going to look up because I swear I'm thinking of like a Hurricane guy that with the name Armstrong. What am I missing here today? I'm like,
I don't know. We're off our rockers.
I'm losing my mind today.
I will look
John Marino wraps it around the boards. Goss Despair will dump it right back in. He's got a whacking out to the blue line. Puck goes back now behind the Devils zone. Oh my! Ryan Graves gets rocked by Jesper Boss. What a hit! That was clean too.
Finishing your check.
Finishing your check as now the Hurricanes come in with a shot. That one is blocked in front. Puck is somewhere. It's in the left side. Nico gets absolutely rocked again. I don't know who hit that. But now Blatt with a shot that gets blocked. Are they going to show Nico? I have no idea. Where is he? Is he all right?
You could have saw that coming, though. His head was down all the way, and he looks up.
Did you? Was that Goss Despair that did that? I have no idea.
I didn't catch it, but, man, I saw that coming a mile away. These Hurricanes fans are going wild right now.
And if you could believe this, as we get a penalty against the Devils, I'm going to guess. I think.
Because
the Devils, I think it is against the Devils. Let me see it again.
It looks like it's going against
the Let's see it again. So Ryan Graves, they show, gets rocked by Jesper Foss, boarded. Now I got to see the other one. Here's the Nico hit. Kotkaniemi, who, to be fair, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. He jumped out of his skates to do that one, to get that hit.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
But the refs are not going to kill them. No, I know the refs well enough to know they're not going to kill the vibe by like calling a penalty there.
No, they won't.
Maybe in the regular season they would, but not in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, no, they won't. I mean, it's kind of, his ass looked like it was like right up in his face. Though,
oh, dude, Nico got obliterated. I hate to say he got obliterated on that.
Okay, so now that you see Carolina getting more physical, clearly with these bodies being thrown left, right, and center, like the Devils have to match that now. And it's something that, that they haven't been able to do, especially if you look back in the Rangers series, all the way back to that Game 7 Meier hit, where nobody wanted to step up in Meier's defense. Does that not tell you about your teammates there and say, if you're not stepping up for me, what are we doing physically then against these guys in the series? Because they're all clearly working for each other and they're playing physically. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I definitely feel that somebody should have done something when Timo got hit by Trouba in Game 7. Nobody did anything. And you just saw there. I don't know necessarily if you would go after Jesper Foss for the hit on Graves. I think that was fine. It was a good hit. But for Nico getting rocked like that and Kotkaniemi basically looking like he like kicked Nico.
Right.
No, I'm not saying he did. It just looked like from the way it is. Graves is going to the locker room. That's awesome. So we're already off to a
woo.
And that's something that the Devils obviously struggle with. Kevin Ball, by the way, is in the penalty box. 2 minutes for tripping. They'll show it again on the replay. Yeah, he got Seth Jarvis as he was coming into the zone. Not necessarily a bad call. Graves, I'm going to I think he got the win. It looks like it might be his left arm wrist thing because he was shaking it a little bit. So,
yes, his wrist,
not known to be a physical player.
So now you're down to 5 defensemen, especially with Carolina.
And you're going in the penalty kill right now. So this is not great. But here, let's see what Carolina could do on their first main advantage. They were 0 for 3 in Game 1, which granted, one of them was abbreviated, so we don't really count that.
Yeah.
There's a block there from McLeod off the shot from Birds. Now a drive from Jarvis. That one gets stopped. This player is down for New Jersey. Martin Necas with the puck. Necas now over to Aho. Now to Necas. Necas now over to Nason. Now to Necas. Back to Nason. Nason now back to Necas. Please, pass to someone else. Now to Nason. Nason with the puck. Gives it back to Necas. Back to Nason for the love of God. Pass to somebody else. Thank you. To Birds now. Now over to Aho. That's Aho. Now to Birds. Drive, and that one goes over the glove of Akira Schmidt and misses the net. Nico Hischier trying to get out. He can't. Birds now with it. Waits. Wrist shot. That one gets blocked. Hischier gets to it and clears.
You wasted 30 seconds of that power play playing
with a tongue.
Who wants the puck? Do you
with a tongue twister? No, they spent a minute with just a tongue twister. That's literally what they did.
No, you haven't. I don't want it.
That drove me nuts. No, it wasn't that they were passing it someone. I'll take that. It's the fact that it's Nason and Necas. For the love of God, pass to someone else.
You have to think, like, if you're both of those guys, wouldn't it click in your head, like, somebody shoot the goddamn puck? Or pass it to somebody else, for God's sakes? Like, it's not working.
As that puck gets deflected into the left side, Hurricanes just trying to set up with 20 seconds to go in the power play. Gets over Stastny. Wrist shot there! And that one just may have gone wide of Schmidt, or he got a piece of it. Not sure. Gostisbehere keeps it in. Gets it over to the right side. Kotkaniemi now with the puck. Walks. Gives it over to Stastny behind the net. Now he lost it. Puck bounces into the left side. Power play is now up for Carolina. Mercer off the boards, and Ball couldn't get out in time. But the Devils are able to kill it off.
Good kill. Yep, I would. No, you get to the first intermission too. If it's still scoreless, it's a good period for both teams. I like the Hurricanes' response. Outside of the Necas passing back.
Never do that again. I swear, there's a high rising shot goes wide of Schmidt. One thing you're noticing, Kyle, is going to say really quickly. One thing you're noticing, Hurricanes, they like to get at least 2 guys in front of the net when the defenseman has it at the top of the point.
Okay, I'm going to look for that next time.
Astute observation, I understand, but like not every team does.
Fair enough. Normally, like, especially when the Rangers played them in the last series, it was Chris Carter was the guy. So, okay. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if they did it a lot when it was 5-on-5. Is that shot deflects wide? Right now, the Devils are hemmed in their zone. Marino tries to get it out. He can't. Shot there from Carolina doesn't reach the net. Puck finally comes out of the zone. Minute 15 to go in the first period. Shots right now 10-7 Carolina. I think it's been a tale of 10 minutes between, or 2 10-minute parts of this period right now. I think the first 10 minutes was all New Jersey, and now these last 10 minutes here have been Carolina.
It's a fair point. Back to your point, I was kind of thinking.
Wait a minute. We have a high sticking call
on New Jersey.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Severson. Bad. Oh, no. Bad of the puck down. Bad of the puck, I think. Yeah, bad of the puck down.
Well, he put his arm up like this. So the problem is in hockey, they put the refs put it up their arm like this for like 30,000 things. Nico Hischier on the follow through on a shot from Seth Jarvis early in the power play. He got stick to the face, and Jesus Christ, they're showing the Kotkaniemi hit again. Oh my God,
It was at contact there though when his feet were still on the ice. So I don't know if that really.
Seth Jarvis got a stick up in the face from Severson. I think they did call a penalty, Kyle. I think
call a penalty on that. Yeah, that's a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's accidental, but it's a call nonetheless. I mean, it's going to be called every time.
Keep your stick down, man. But I mean, you know what? That's kind of a phantom call.
What is that?
No penalty.
Ref just went like this. What does that mean?
No penalty.
No penalty?
Yeah,
I guess.
No penalty.
And Severson's still talking to the ref like there is a penalty. I don't know. I think that.
I think because it was because this is where his stick was after the pass, right? And it just so happened that whoever it was trying to finish his check. So that's, I mean, I don't know what the ruling is on that. I know they have a rules analyst right now talking about it, but we can't hear it obviously. So I'm sure there's because he finishes his pass and he's protecting himself from getting hit. That's why he has his stick up there. So I can understand why that's not a penalty.
Well, here he goes. We're back. We're still 5-on-5 as Lazar gets knocked down. I think probably just got hit down from behind. No penalty. So here come the Hurricanes. Gives it over. And Nason couldn't get a shot off. Good stick lift there from Sigathar. Puck comes out in front, but the Devils get to it. Lazar, he gets dragged. That could have been a penalty, but nonetheless, we still play on. So now the Hurricanes with it for a moment. Miles Wood now. Now Aho intercepts it. 30 seconds to go. The clock stopped. Now the clock is stopping for some reason.
Oh, my God.
Sleeven gets it over. Backhand try there is fought off by Schmidt. Clock is still screwing up. And now they took away the clock. Now they fixed it. Here we go. Drive from Jarvis, and that one is blocked. Penalty coming up here against the Devils. It's an interference call.
How much time is left? What the hell? The clock went away.
4 seconds?
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
What is going on? What is
I don't know. This first period is weird. I think it's Siegenthaler that's going.
Looks like it, yeah.
This is what I call this, Kyle? I call it compensatory call. You didn't call the penalty against Severson, so you called that against Siegenthaler, which is an interference call.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I couldn't tell who the Carolina player was. I mean,
it's in some ways, Moo, I can sort of agree.
Right.
There have been some chances, but also there's been a lot of passing from both teams.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't tell. I mean, I can understand why it was interference, but it is what it is.
So here we go. That's the end of the first period. A very strangest first period from both teams. But nonetheless, we have no score after 20. So, Kyle, really quick, your thoughts.
Yeah, no, it was good 10 minutes, I think, for both. It was good 10 minutes for the Devils to start. And then, obviously the Hurricanes kind of pushed back a little bit, which was good. A lot more physicality, I think, for Carolina. You got to expect that for the Devils to come out in the second period and kind of match that a little bit. Important penalty, another one to kill off. I think, it's going to be interesting to see if the Devils' penalty woes continue now as the game goes on. But you're going into the first intermission for both teams. You're at 0-0, and, that seems appropriate for where this game's been.
Yeah, and it's definitely been, like you said, both teams have had a couple of good chances to score. I think both goaltenders are clearly on their game. I think for New Jersey, they've tested Freddie Anderson a little bit more, which I think is important for them. I even saw it in Game 6 against the Islanders. The Islanders at times did struggle to really pepper Freddie Anderson with shots. So I think if you're the Devils, you just have to continue to try to create opportunities. I think the other thing is this. The physicality is now picked up. Carolina is clearly going after the top guys and being physical. Understandably so. I expect that 100%. The Devils have to match it. It's hard. I understand the players that the Devils have, but they got to match it somehow. And the Hurricanes, good for them. They're going to start the second period on almost a full power play.
And we still haven't shown our surprise yet.
Not yet. We're going to show it at some point because somebody's going to do something.
It'll happen. It will happen tonight.
Please be aware. But before we continue on with more of our thoughts, and we'll get to a lot of other things as well, we're going to step aside for the first time tonight to get a word from our sponsors. And welcome everybody here to our first intermission report. Again, Neil Villapiano alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kyle Manifold, and our four lovely bobbleheads here as we are at the first intermission. And after 20 minutes of play, we have no score. So, a little bit, I actually already, it's actually been a lot better of a first period comparatively for the Devils than it was in game number one. As we mentioned before, Kyle, Devils got off to a good start. First 10 minutes, I felt like they were the better team. Got a couple of really good chances, a couple power plays, didn't score. Second half of the period, Carolina starts taking over, particularly on the physicality end. Two big hits from Jesper Fast on Ryan Graves, and then Kotkaniemi seconds after that on Nico Hischier. The Devils also they took two penalties in that first period. And we will keep an update on Ryan Graves as well, because he did leave the period early with what appears to be some type of injury after the hit from Fast. So keep that in mind as the Devils may be skating moving forward with just 5 defensemen, which who knows, that might force Luke Hughes to potentially play game number 3 on Sunday, but we'll see. But again, Kyle, what have you seen so far through the first 20 minutes of this one?
Yeah, like I started to notice, like what you mentioned too, where and it was shown at the beginning of the game where the Hurricanes defensively, like, you know, I know that's why I commented earlier.
Yeah,
showed it earlier.
I just saw it as well, so I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But just kind of going back to what the Hurricanes stat showed earlier, why they're the best team for defenseman scoring throughout the whole season and into the playoffs. That might be one of those reasons, right? They stick two guys in front because they can trust those defensemen to manage the point. Not only manage that, they can manage their shots well too. They got the right defenseman to do that clearly, so it's been kind of showing all season long. And yeah, I think if you're the Devils, and just seeing the replay too, it is a lot of that. So it's kind of. I'm sure they kind of know that by now. I'm sure they've watched the film and understood that they have two guys there. So maybe the Devils would counter that and say, well, we're still going to pressure your guys more at the point. Didn't work well in the first game, but it's working well here in the second game. They've clearly gotten to them. Freddie Anderson, I think, has been really good in this first period. I also think Schmidt has responded well too. Both goalies have been very well tonight because these shots have been high contested shots. Yeah, it's been really good back and forth. You said it too. The Devils had control of it in the first 10, Carolina the last 10 a little bit. And yeah, it's been good hockey. It's been physical hockey. It's been playoff hockey. It's what it's something that I've been missing because with the Carolina hits, that's what we want to see. And that's why I like the refs just kind of letting them play a little bit and letting those hits go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, obviously from the, as a Devils fan, you don't want to see your guys get rocked like that. But as a hockey fan, it's like it gets you fired up. That's what makes hockey and especially playoff hockey exciting because you get those big time hits. The crowd's going absolutely crazy. It's exactly what you expect. Would you say that was a relatively even period between both teams? Or do you think one team, maybe more particularly Carolina, was maybe the better team overall? Or do you think it was more even?
They're just showing all these hits, and I think that definitely changed my answer because I thought I originally was going to say that it has been pretty even, but the Hurricanes, man, that's not going to stop. It's going to keep going. The physicality of it, man, it's not going to stop, and that's why I really question if the Devils can find a way to, match the physicality, which they haven't been able to do since the start of the playoffs, or I don't know how it's been throughout the whole regular season for you guys, but maybe guys I don't know if your forward units, I don't know who's going to be the guys to, maybe your fourth liners to kind of step up and maybe make those bigger hits. I know for a Calgary fan perspective, Lucic's only reason to be there was to be a big guy, hit people, and maybe fight the odd time. So I don't know if the Devils have some of those guys in there to be able to do that, but clearly it affected them. And I thought Carolina had better, maybe around the same good chances in front of the net, scoring chances. But I think you're going to see that that's going to continue on as the second period and the game goes on.
One guy that stands out to me so far from Carolina is actually Jesper Fast. Now, he did take a penalty earlier in the period, but I've said his name 7 or 8 times tonight. He's flying all over the ice, really making a lot of contributions, especially physically. He had that big hit on Ryan Graves. He did score an empty netter in game number 1, but still, I think he definitely is bringing the body, as are a lot of guys on Carolina. For New Jersey, the guy who's really kind of caught my eye so far is got to be Akira Schmid. When I look at the forward group, defensive group, I don't really look at one guy and I say they seem to be playing, unless, if you have somebody, Kyle, more than free to say it, but I think it's so far for Akira Schmid, certainly the type of start you wanted, and now it's about just continuing to play the way you've been playing.
I thought Schmidt's been fine. Sorry, they're playing something here.
Also, I should mention as well, Jack Hughes lost a tooth.
Oh.
So now he looks like a true hockey player.
He didn't need it. It's okay.
No, he didn't need it. Also, I wanted to read this really quickly. This is from All About Jersey. This was the SB Nation guys that cover the New Jersey Devils. They actually explained this before because we were talking about Severson was getting called for a penalty and then they rescinded it. And a lot of people were saying, why was that the case? They said the high sticking is called on Severson against Jarvis. It's a follow through, so the refs rescinded the penalty.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. I don't
think I've ever heard that be rescinded, though, despite it being a follow-through.
That's there's been questionable ones where, some guys will follow through and then some. You know what I mean? I think this one was a true, I'm finishing my pass, and then, obviously, I don't know. Sorry, who was the player that hit what was his face there?
Jarvis was the one that got hit in the face by Severson.
Jarvis, right. So, yeah, I think Jarvis – that's tough because he's right there. And, it's kind of awkward, for him to finish his, he's got to protect himself a little bit, right? So that's why there's been so many hits. And that's part of the reason why I thought he was just trying to protect himself after the hit. So I can understand a little bit why that wasn't called. So anyway,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think another thing, Kyle, is this. I think it is fair to say with the way this game is going, the first goal is going to be massive for whoever gets it. Carolina in particular is one of those teams that really feeds off their home crowd. If they get the first goal and they get going, they're going to be they're going to be just flowing with energy. If the Devils, despite having some bumps in the road here in that first period, if they can find a way to strike first, that'll really kind of bring that crowd down and just be like, oh, all right, well, now we're trailing, and we got to find a way.
As we've seen the second round go on so far, like watching Florida, Toronto, watching Seattle, Dallas, Vegas, and Edmonton, and all that, I think Carolina's got to be the favorite.
I agree.
I like. You're right. The way they feed off this crowd, the way they play on home ice, is unbelievable, and it's shown all season long. And it's shown like they were 40-5 or whatever on home ice, or something stupid like that after scoring first, right? So like it's unbelievable the way they play at home, and the way they carry themselves on the road into Long Island. They were able to do that in Game 6. That's a tough. I don't see, especially from, again, I'm talking about the physicality aspect of it. You see a team like Toronto and the way they've getting their ass kicked by Matthew Tkachuk and all those boys against Florida.
Yeah, getting beat.
And you see that Toronto team beating Carolina if that's the way they're going to play? No,
they have no shot.
No shot. They're going to get their ass kicked because then they're going to whine, bitch, and complain about all the reffing problems and oh my God, Sam Bennett put Nice to the ground and now he's out and he didn't get suspension because he choke slammed him to the ground like a WWE wrestler. Grow up. People were overblowing it last night. I'll be the bad guy. I don't care. I thought that was weak from Leaf fans last night saying that was like a choke slam. Okay, he brought him to the ground. Oh, intentionally trying to choke slam. I don't know. Like, I thought that was kind of phantom on those guys' parts. And, if he got a game, okay, fine. But the fact that he got fined, I like the call.
Yeah. The fine is fine.
Right.
Just to put it, not to, I wasn't really trying to be funny there, but yeah, I mean, it really is like, again, it's playoff hockey. Like at the end of the day,
did you see the
hit? Yeah, no, I don't think it was worth the suspension. Although I look at like the hit that Michael Bunting had in the Tampa series, and I wondered to myself if that was worth the amount of games that he got. I thought that was a little bit overblown. On that one. But again, I think when you look at it from that perspective, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and those guys. They play and they walk the line. They walk a fine line when they do it because they understand that you have to be physical in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what it's going to take. And I'll kind of use New Jersey here because we were talking about it before. If the Devils want to find a way to get past Carolina, they do have to somehow match the physicality. And if they get past Carolina and, Florida gets past Toronto, guess what? Now you're taking on an even more physical team moving forward. Like the Devils right now are in a position where they have to take a deep breath and just kind of go from there and not worry about, trying to outskill every single time like the Hurricanes. Because I don't think you need to completely outskill them to get goals. You saw it in Game 7 against the Rangers.
Yeah,
every goal. Watching here. There you go.
The dumb thing about it is like they both went into the boards. So they're both into the boards, and it's just wrestling each other to the ground. If anything, he's got his arm here, and he's just bringing him down. Yeah. So I don't understand what people were saying about him, like, choking him. And it's blown out of proportion, and you're watching it here. You're right. Bennett's walking that line. It's made like they're calling penalties here because he gets the extra shove or whatever, but, like, Bunting again, like, calling it out to the refs. You know what it is that Florida's just getting under their skin.
Exactly. And
because they don't have thick skin.
Yeah, and I keep going back to this comment that Gerard Gallant made in Game 4 against the Devils when he was saying, we're spending way too much time, complaining to the refs and not bitching and not focusing on just playing our game. That's what you just saw from Toronto. Same thing. First 2 games. They have not played their game at all. They've let the Panthers walk in there and rough them up right from the start. When the Leafs went up 2-0 early in Game 2 last night, I was like, okay, just like against Tampa, they're having a response. They're having a response. This is good. And I think it was like 2-0. Leafs go to the power play. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is where the Leafs are just going to blow it open. And no. And then once the Panthers got one, I saw a lot of Leafs players just put their head down, and I think you could see Panthers player going, we got him. We got him again. We're going to come back and win this game.
Yeah, it deflated them last night. Just watching the highlights, it looked like they were shell-shocked, right? Yeah. Because it's like they know that we got you right where we want you now.
Yeah, no question.
Because I think you're right. Like, I think in that situation there, the Leafs expect to blow teams out like they did in Game 2 against Tampa Bay. They expect that of themselves.
They do.
So it shocks them that, wait a minute, we have to play a close game against Florida now? What? Like, what? Like, yeah. It rattled them, it looked like. So, yeah, just kind of finishing that up there. Like, of course it's not over because we saw what the Devils did last series, but I wanted to finish by asking you this. If the matchup in the Eastern Final happens to be Florida, New Jersey, just as an example.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can take New Jersey to win that series.
I think a lot of people wouldn't take New Jersey because, and again, obviously a lot would depend on how the rest of the series goes and if the Devils do get past Carolina, and especially when you look at just the physical part of it, because this is not a knock on Florida. Florida has a lot of skill. There's no question. Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett,
Barkov.
Anthony Blair, Barkov. They have a lot of talent. There's no question about it. Bobrovsky playing like the Vezina Bobrovsky we've seen before.
Yep.
I think a lot of people would look at it and go like talent for talent. Maybe New Jersey has a tight, very small advantage. But if we look at the physicality, it's like way over in Florida's corner. And Florida can look at a small – because remember, the Leafs are not a small team. They're pretty big in stature themselves. No. The Devils, comparatively, are like children in many ways. I mean, they are. I mean, this is a young, very young Devils team. It's something that you kind of have to look at and say, what can the Devils do? Maybe not to always try to out-physical their opponent, but what ways can they counterattack that and try to avoid it? You've noticed it. I don't know if you've noticed it a lot. Jack Hughes and Brad in particular have done a good job of, they know they're about to get potentially crunched against the boards, and they're somehow able to like somewhat slither away from it, or they position themselves in a way where when they get hit, it's not that big of a hit. They get like bumped against the wall. They just avoid getting big time crunched.
You got it.
That hasn't really happened so far here in this game against Carolina. They've just gotten bleared. By the way, Ryan Graves and Chandra, did just mention this. I want to give her credit. Ryan Graves is back, and he's actually on the ice to start this second period. We're underway.
And I'm sorry we didn't get some of the comments because we kind of ranted there. I'll bring some up though during the second period here because I think
in the second period we'll do a lot more comments as now the Hurricanes will set up here on the power play, feeds it in front, Natchez, and now what a stop by Schmid. Now the Hurricanes get it. Burns drops it over to Jarvis. Jarvis with the puck circles, looking to chip it to somebody. He chips it to the right corner to Nason, who reps it over to Aho. Sebastian Aho now on the left side, right side. Aho gets it top of the point to Burns. Burns now to Aho. Yeah, I somewhat agree. Is that shot in front? It's stopped. Rebound try goes wide by Jarvis. I think he might have had an opening there.
It looked like it. If you comment, I'm just kind of like being like, just answering some of these questions in the background, so don't mind me.
That shot from Aho goes wide of Schmid. Puck comes there. Graves gets to it, and he's able to clear with about a minute to go on the power play. Now a chance for Nason. Drops it to Natchez. Natchez, wrist shot! And that one just goes wide of Schmid. Jarvis now with it. Top of the wall. He tried to get it to Kotkaniemi, but he couldn't keep it in the zone, and he'll have to go back.
Fair enough. No, just Connor was bringing up just because they go back to the penalty that they declined. I guess there was one that was similar to Elias Pettersson, and the player he high stick actually raised his stick. So there's been a lot of that though, like as we've seen, where people lift their sticks and it hit me in the face, blah blah blah. I think this one's a touch different just because I thought he was defending himself, but anyway, that's just me.
So less than a minute to go here on the Hurricanes power play. They've been able to set it up. They've gotten at least one, maybe two shots on goal. Shot attempts, though, they've had a lot of good chances. As they'll set up here, Kotkaniemi throws it in front of puck. The puck bounces up in the air, goes completely wide of Schmid. Now both teams kind of whacking at it on the left side. Hurricanes get it top of the point, over to Kotkaniemi, waits, wrist shot, and he scores! Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi! And I think he overpowered Akira Schmidt on that one. Carolina on the power play.
Sorry, that was kind of banger. They're just surprised. That's what it was.
That was a surprise, by the way. There you go.
Sorry, that was a banger.
We did kind of talk about. I forgot who suggested it in
that last game.
Yeah, so you look at your Kotkaniemi all day to shoot that, and I think Schmidt got a piece, but not enough. I think it went through his arm. Maybe we'll see it again. Slow motion. Thank you. Yeah, hit him right in the chest, like this area, and then went in. So Carolina strikes first on the power play. Kotkaniemi already second goal of this series.
That was a banger.
I mean,
Connor clearly doesn't like goal horns here. I'm just saying.
I guess that was a remix of that. I forgot the name of the original song, but
I don't remember it. I don't remember it.
It's one of those songs where like you hear it and you know it, but you don't know the name of it, and that's the problem. So the Devils are trying to get it out. Take like your backhand try is fought up by Schmidt. Now you can see, Kyle, the Hurricanes have a lot of life as Nate just gets knocked down. No penalty. Here come the Devils the other way. Siegenthaler drops it off to Hughes. Hughes gets the Siegenthaler. Siegenthaler with a shot that wouldn't stop by Anderson. Puck comes out in front. Both teams getting to it. Hughes with a shot that would have stopped and covered by Freddie Anderson.
Why didn't he pass that across? He was wide open. I don't know if it was Meyer or Palat who had it, but he should have passed it right across the front, and there would have been a chance there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just another missed opportunity. Again, bad defense on that goal. Right. Nobody's on that side where Kotkaniemi was.
That was Carolina's goal horn, right?
That was Carolina's goal horn, correct.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I didn't pull it up. Neil was the one that pulled up these goal horns, so
it literally says on our StreamYard, sir, it literally says Carolina goal horns. Yeah. I promise you, it's their goal horn.
Yeah. 31-4-2 this season when recording the first goal of the game. Third best record all time since 1943.
How do people come up with this stuff?
Oh, they have people for it. Trust me.
I know, but still, think about those poor people. They're spending hours losing sleep looking up the most absurd stats.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. Who doesn't want to hear TNT by ACDC?
I do.
TNT's a good one. There's now an opportunity here for Stastny. Waits, still with it. Shot. That would have stopped. Trucking job there by Stepan, and that would have stopped by Schmidt. What a hell of a save from Akira Schmidt. Hurricanes still with it. Burns with a shot that would stop. Rebound try is fought off by the left leg pad of Schmidt. Hurricanes keeping it again. Burns walks up, fakes the slap shot. Now a drive and is stopped by Schmidt. Puck comes out in front, and Bastian will clear for New Jersey.
New Jersey's like defensively letting guys sit there in front of the net, not really moving them around. And notice that at the very end of the power play where they're just not letting anybody kind of, they're basically screening them, right? And nobody's really touching them in front of the net. And, you got to have a couple more guys there at the point to put some pressure and make sure that helps Akira, because Akira's really keeping these guys in this right now.
I mean, look at this stick save from Akira Schmidt. He gets back somehow. And then this replay on the shot from Puljujarvi. Great save. Two beautiful saves from Akira Schmidt.
If that doesn't tell you like that he's going to be the guy for the rest of the playoffs, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I don't know what
else.
I don't know what else at this point he would have to do to prove it. I think he has.
100%.
At this point.
He has proven it 100%.
As that shot there is stopped, and then Graves falls down and he'll just flick it out of the zone. It feels like right now the Devils are just playing an extended penalty kill.
5-on-5. That's the thing, 5-on-5. And they bring up these stats, and I know sometimes they can be meaningless in that, but why are we not paying more attention to Carolina being cup contenders here? They're that good.
They are that good.
Not tell them that they're that good. And I understand Boston had their stats and blah blah blah, and then we saw what happened to them, but this is not an old team like Boston. And what we saw in that first round, they got pushed around. These guys pushed back.
No, absolutely. And they've really, and this is again with Carolina missing Pacioretty, Svechnikov, and Teuvo Teravainen. What would this team be like right now if they had all those guys fully healthy?
Well,
I mean, think about it. There's a shot there from Kotkaniemi, and he scores! Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi, his second already, and it's 2-0 Carolina.
I just realized it doesn't reset.
Okay. Well, we tried.
Okay.
We really tried. You want to try that again?
Well, no. If I play it, it's just going to keep going. So
how do we restart it? We just let it play?
I think so.
Wow. Great job, StreamYard. We love that. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Just let it happen. That's Kotkaniemi's shot, by the way, Kyle. Again, off a piece. I think Akira Schmidt did get a piece, but again, nobody there covering him at all. It's 2-0, 2 goals in 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and it's again all Carolina right now.
Yeah, no one's helping them out, man. No one's helping them out. Maybe maybe side note, what we should do with the goal horn is like try to clip it in whatever we need to go into and just like make it 10, 15 seconds. And then that way it'll,
That's a good point.
So it's first time doing it. Okay.
Right, exactly. It's now Eric Holla takes a shot that's easily fought off by Freddie Anderson and it goes out of play. So yes, Barry Kotkaniemi, who has been the subject of some criticism actually since he's been in Carolina for his lack of consistent production. He's got 2 goals tonight, and he's got 3 on the playoffs.
Yeah, he needed to change of scenery out of Montreal. You know, I mean, he was a big part of Montreal's Stanley Cup final run back whenever that was, 2021. But since then, you know, he wasn't a guy that was able to produce. Like, he was always get stuck on 4th line, like scratch sometimes, maybe 3rd line if he's lucky. And he just needed to change of scenery, and it's clearly worked for him.
It has clearly worked for him. I have no idea what Montreal got for Kotkaniemi. I forgot already. A 1st-round pick, I think? I think they got more than that.
Maybe. No, you know, unless he was a waiver.
Now Jack Hughes settles it down, drops it over to Kevin Ball. Kevin Ball coming up in the play. Ball wraps it around the boards all the way to the other side. Devils can't keep it in. Jack Hughes will go and retrieve it for New Jersey. As Hughes now, he's a guy that really has to start getting going. He's been very quiet tonight. Right. Hughes gets around a defender, but Stastny's right there. Devils almost are able to intercept it, trying to keep it in. They actually can. As Jack Hughes gets to it, throws it in front. Meyer with a shot! That would have stopped! Scramble in front! Where's the puck? It's somehow under Anderson and he'll cover.
It's sitting under his ass again for the 2nd time in a row.
I think it's the 2nd or 3rd time he's done that tonight. He's perfecting the ass save.
Also, I don't know if everybody's getting the goal horn when we do it. Not sure.
It'll take time. Give us time.
It'll take time. We'll make sure. I just need New Jersey to score because in that way it'll start the goal horn and then we're okay.
Yeah. As Timo Meyer there was the one that took that really good shot. Nice feed from Jack Hughes, by the way, on the side. Good shot from Meyer. I'm sure Timo would have liked to have lifted that puck if he could have.
I really do like Meyer playing with Jack Hughes. I think that's something that needs to keep going. Like I like.
They don't do enough of that. Lindy doesn't play him enough with Jack. I don't know why he doesn't do that. It's very frustrating.
Got it. That's fair.
But right now, if you're the Devils, you've got to find a way to get the next goal. You've got to get back in this game because right now it feels like the game is already slipping away. How
do you not come out prepared for this second period, understanding that they're gonna be on top of you again? You got to be able to figure out how to answer that, and they haven't been doing that. It's the player's fault for letting Akira Schmidt out to dry a little bit right now.
Yeah. And look, Lindy Ruff said it after game 1. He said he pulled Akira Schmidt not because it was his fault, but because the team needed a spark. There's a shot there from Mercer, and he whiffed on it. Oh, my goodness. Dude. Mercer's standing right in the slot. Point-blank chance. As now we get a stoppage of play. I think the puck may have gone out of play. Not sure.
Looks like it, yeah.
Good job there by Nico on the forecheck. Good feed to him. But good feed to Mercer, but Mercer just didn't get enough of a shot. Yep. Another guy that's gone completely quiet, and great that he was quiet in game 1, Kyle, is Jesper Bratt. Where is he tonight?
I'd like to say that with a lot of the guys on this team, right?
Oh, I mean, look, no, don't get me wrong. I could say that about literally everybody on this team.
What about Bratt tonight? What about him? Just so I can understand more. Like, just not.
Just, again, it feels like one of those games where, like, he's not getting involved as much as he should. He's kind of just he's just playing through the motions, I guess is the way I would describe it.
Okay, fair enough.
Like not being as aggressive. But then again, not really anybody except maybe Timo. I feel like Timo's had a couple of good chances in this game.
Yeah, but again, nobody's playing aggressive.
So that puck comes out in front, scramble. Finally, Nico Hischier gets to it. Devils will look to come the other way. It's a 2-on-2. Hischier is just going to dump it into the zone. I would have liked to just shoot that puck on net. I think Freddie Anderson is deliberately yelling at the ref because he thinks the puck went out of play.
Right.
And I think he's right.
Neil, I don't think you want to trade a guy that just started his first year of
trading Hughes,
$8 million contract.
Connor, we're not trading Jack Hughes, all right? Relax. Just because he's having a couple of rough games in the playoffs does not make him a bust, no matter how many Rangers fans want to keep saying that.
Also, apparently Raleigh's a beautiful city. So there you go.
That's what I've been heard. This is what I've been told. I've never been. This is what I've been told.
What is the population of Raleigh? That's what I would like to know. Also, make sure we're commenting where we're from tonight, where we're watching from.
Yeah, let us know. We would love to know where you guys are tuning in from.
Yeah, we're
at a commercial break right now.
Bit of a break here. Maybe I'll quickly mention too before I forget. Neil will not be here for Game 3 because
I will be in attendance at the Rock for Game number 3. I'm really excited. I do want to give a special shout out to Jake Reynolds, the president of the New Jersey Devils, who gave me 2 tickets to the game. So that's how I'm going.
What?
Yeah, the president of the team gave me 2 tickets.
How?
What?
Okay, story time.
All right, so it's not as exciting as people I've tried to explain this and people don't believe me, but I really will try to explain it.
Shoot.
So Jake Reynolds does a ticket giveaway for every game, just 2 tickets. That's it. Right. And you just sign up with your email and your phone number and all that stuff. And he picks, they pick whoever and they pick, somebody and they give him 2 tickets. I just happened to get lucky and win 2 tickets to Game 3. So
out of
there's your answer.
Thousands of people that could have won it.
Yeah, nobody believes me that it's just by chance. They believe that it was completely rigged, which I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't think it is because I've never won it before. So yeah, Kyle also everybody continuously thinks I'm full of crap.
Buddies with the president.
I'm just buddy. I know Jake. He's a pretty good guy.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, what a costume from these Hurricanes fans.
That's phenomenal.
What a costume.
So you'll be at Game 3. I am not sure whether or not I will be able to do Game 3. So for those of you wondering if you're trying to tune in for the next game, we might not be streaming on Sunday. We'll kind of let everybody know tomorrow. Right. Yeah, it's an inside job. Yeah, I think you're that close.
And by the way, if you want to get notified of when we're going to go live for live watch-alongs, make sure you punch that notification bell. That way you get notified of when we go live so that you know. Yeah.
So we have a stream tomorrow night. Our guy Lance from Brew Jackets will be doing it's the only game tomorrow night, which is super weird. Oilers and Golden Knights Game 2 will be on live stream tomorrow night for you guys to check out. Make sure you watch that. Monday, I know we're getting play underway here real quick. Monday, I will be doing the NHL Draft Lottery with 2 other guys that are also going to be joining us beforehand. So make sure to check that out. And I believe there might be another stream that night following that. But we'll be back for Game 4.
As a shot there from McLeod is stopped and covered by Anderson. I actually love that shot from McLeod. Puck just comes right to him. Just fire it. You got nothing to lose. That's what I look at.
Yep. No, it's a good shot. And that's, you got to give credit where credit is due, though. Anderson's been on his game tonight. It's not for a lack of trying. I think the Devils have been good offensively, but at the same time, Anderson's he's been really good tonight. You got to give him credit.
Yeah. So Michael McLeod, you could see he's looking up at the scoreboard. He's very frustrated.
Do you bet?
Guys, do I bet? I dabble in it every now and then. And when I dabble in it, I use DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the Hockey Podcast Network. And when you sign up with DraftKings, use our promo code THPN, and you can get some pretty awesome opportunities to get in on major cash prizes with the Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, spring football, horse racing, Kentucky Derby, I mentioned before, is coming up very soon, and so much more.
My best bet as a kid, I put $2 on a horse, and we have a Woodbine racetrack here. If people from Canada are familiar with it, $2 bet won me $120 one time.
Very nice, very nice.
I was 10 years old, and my dad's like, "Yeah, you can keep half of it." I'm like, "Screw you."
This might be the most pleasant chant or thing I've seen in a while.
That's
NJ Debbie's. My little cupcakes are coming back to stun the lonely candy canes. Let's go, Debs.
Let's go.
Nice job. I like that.
Yes.
NJ Debbie's, I definitely appreciate it. I think we both really appreciate that.
Of course.
Do we? I guess we don't call it an insult, like against the Hurricane. Like, is that an insult? That's pretty good. It's a shot there from Meyer. It stopped and covered by Free Anderson.
You can call it if you want. RJ, oh shoot, sorry. Hockey is crazy. It can change so fast. Damn right it can. It could be 2-2. It could be 4-0. You never know. And RJ saying, please subscribe. Please hit the like button, guys. We got still a lot of great streams going on, and I'm looking forward to Monday night's lottery. I really am. I'm just so excited to see who's going to get the number 1 pick. Neil, who do you think will get lucky number 1 Monday night?
San Jose.
You think San Jose, eh? Okay.
It's going to be one of those teams that has like an 8% chance. It's going to be like that. Because we've seen that recently with the draft where the team who gets the the highest odds usually gets screwed. Not always, but it feels like a lot more it's happening where like they're just getting screwed.
Right.
So like right now I think, what is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, it's Anaheim, right, with the highest odds?
Oh, okay, hold on. I just saw like the shot meter go up by like 5 on the Devils side. It went from like 11 to 15. I don't know what just happened there. It went boom, 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 and I'm like, whoa. Yeah.
And don't worry, Flash Score will update itself. I'm sure they probably saw it too, and they were like, wait a minute.
Right. I like the Ducks to win.
Quack.
I don't know. I think that just kind of feels right, whether I'm right or wrong. Astra asked Kane sweep. You hope not.
Let's not talk about that.
We don't want to talk about that. Is Bedard overrated? That's a good question. I'll let you answer.
Is it like, are we really gonna like talk about that when he's never even played in the NHL yet? Like,
give him a chance. Yeah.
I just want to give him a chance. That's the way with any prospect, that's literally how I act. I'm like, I'm not saying anything until he gets at least a full year or two of like NHL experience. Then I can say something. Is Mercer once again not getting enough on the shot? Second time.
There we go. Knock him off the puck though. Like good.
Yeah, it was good.
Physicality.
I think the Devils are starting to slowly respond again. And I say like slowly, like they're not immediately coming back at them like they should. But
it's a long time to respond though, being down 2-0. That should have been something that you guys needed to kind of keep up as the game went along in the first and the beginning of the second there.
Yankees lost again, if anybody cares.
Ooh, it's okay. Toronto's lost like 4. They lost 4 in a row to Boston.
I think they're beating the Pirates right now. I'm not sure.
I don't follow it a lot like this early on the season. Call me after the trade deadline.
I feel like that's how like a lot of the casual plays it. Oh wow, they're showing a replay of a great diving stick play by Brent Burns a few moments ago, because otherwise Jesper Bratt might have been off to the races on a partial breakaway.
That was a great breakup, and that's what I mean, man. These guys on defense are no joke. They're big, they can shoot, and you know they can do it in their job description. They can play defense too when it matters.
Oh yeah, and right now like it's amazing. Like you think like a 2-goal lead is not an insurmountable one, but I think with the way Carolina has played defensively and how the Devils have just lacked a response in game 1 and then even here in game 2 so far, it just kind of feels like even a 1-goal lead seems like that it's just going to be hard for this Devils team to respond.
Yeah, totally agree. And maybe you can answer it as we kind of get into commercial break when it does. I just saw the rosters were starting to get revealed for the World Championships. I'm not sure if you pay a lot of attention to it. I just like seeing the rosters and who's on there. And just your thoughts on like the American and Canadian rosters and the rest of the world kind of rosters stack up.
I mean, the way I look at it is simply that the one thing I will tell you is that the Switzerland team would like the Devils to lose in the playoffs as quickly as possible, so that they can get Siegenthaler, Meyer, Nico, and Akira Schmid on their team. There's a shot there from Natchez. It's stopped and covered by the chest of Akira Schmid with 9:36 to go in the second. Here's the thing. I think this is one of the least impressive American teams I've seen, and granted, again, there just isn't a whole lot to go off of because there's still guys that could join the team very soon, depending.
Right. I like Matthew Coronado. I think he's going to get some. I think it's such a good opportunity.
Coronado's a very interesting guy. I think he also played in the World Junior Championships as well. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So he's the guy to keep on long term for USA hockey. You know who I think is going to win gold this year?
Nope.
I think it's going to be Sweden.
Yeah, do they have a good roster? Let me look it up.
They have a pretty solid one. The one thing that's I'll tell you what's really interesting right now. A lot of the guys you're going to see playing are guys who play in Europe. Like, it's not going to be constantly NHL players, but it's going to be a lot of European guys and a good chance to like see some other guys that you don't normally get a chance to see like for a long period of time.
Okay. No, I understand. Well, I'm looking at Sweden here. No data. Okay, maybe they haven't brought out their roster yet.
Yeah, well, they haven't really started the world. I think they're doing like warm up games, right? They haven't really started the.
I think so. They have. Sorry, just give me a minute. I'm just kind of seeing Team Canada. Let's see if we can bring up Sweden. I
think Svechnikov's brother, by the way, just signed with Nashville. Well, he has another brother named Evgeny Svechnikov, who's currently with the San Jose Sharks. I don't know if this is also another brother of the Svechnikovs, but just wanted to share that.
Okay. Just kind of seeing, they haven't brought up a lot. It's just really, I can only see the Canada and the U.S. roster, so I won't spend too much time on it. The Canadian roster, the first thing that stuck out to me was, God damn it, there's so many flames on that team.
It's unfortunately the way you got to look at it. And look, coming from the Devils' perspective, where for the last 5 years you make the playoffs, that was kind of the next thing you would like look to see like how many Devils players would play for their country. And that's what got Devils fans excited in the offseason this past year about the prospects of maybe trying to acquire Timo Meier because of how much success Timo and Nico had in the World Championships last year and in also previous tournaments.
Fair enough. Just looking at the Canadian roster here, just some guys to note that I think, should be watched too because of how young they are. One of the biggest guys to watch is going to be Adam Fantilli. He is supposed to be projected number 2 or number 3, maybe number 4, I don't know, in the draft, this upcoming draft. So it's just curious to see where Fantilli will kind of lie. Jake Neighbors for the Blues, Jack Quinn for the Sabres. Defensively, I look at not a lot. Jake Wallman maybe for the Red Wings. Devin Levi is going to be your starting goaltender for the Canadian national team.
Devin Levi. Mr. Meditator himself.
I think he's going to be such a good goalie.
Oh yeah, I think Buffalo has found their goalie long term.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and I'm expecting Buffalo to have a good season next year too. So
I think they'll make the playoffs next year. That's my hot take.
I would not be surprised if that happens. I'm just trying to find the American roster too. So as
Curtis Lazar with a shot, and that one is fought off by Anderson. Curtis Lazar with some good speed there. Really good opportunity for the fourth line or third line, however you look at it. But again, Devils kind of like one chance and done right now, it kind of feels like.
Yeah, not great. I mean, especially like it's just funny too, because I'm looking at the shots, it's 20-15, for Carolina. The Devils, man, just like it feels like that. Oh, here we go. Oh,
there's a shot there. I think that was John Marino. That was a nice pass from Timo Meier there on that one. So 2 good chances. But the other thing you're noticing, Kyle, is that when the Devils are shooting it, it's just like there's no like sort of like design shot to try to create a rebound. It seems like a lot of shots are just right into the chest of Anderson. It's just making it easy for him.
That's something I noticed a lot in the first game. They were getting their chances, but not good quality ones where it was just right at his chest or, right there at his pad. Like not a lot. Like no, he doesn't have to do. It doesn't seem like he had to do a lot in game 1 and throughout the second period. However, during that first period, I thought he looked very good because there was a lot of scrambles and he had to make some good saves there in the first.
No question about it.
Yeah. As I'm just kind of reading the USA team, you got Casey DeSmith and Cal Pedersen as your 2 goaltenders, probably as 1-2.
Casey DeSmith, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Connor Mackey, you got on defense. You got Dylan Sandberg from the Jets, Nick Prebix. I don't know how you pronounce it for the Lightning. I apologize.
That's a name.
There's a lot of guys on defense I just don't recognize from the American roster, so I don't know how that's going to be. And then your forwards, Drew O'Connor, Luke Tuck. I don't know who he is for Montreal. Nick Bonino is going to be playing. You got Andreas Bjork, Matt Coronado, Connor Garland, Alex Tuck, who's going to be big for Buffalo, and that's about it.
So again, with the World Championship, sometimes you're going to be a little bit disappointed when you don't see a lot of the names that you I guess would expect or hope, because sometimes with even NHL players, even though they'll get invited, they may not always say, "Yeah, I want to keep playing." They may just be like, well, I think I need a break. Is now a shot there from Timo Meier. He tried to do a toe drag, but he got blocked. Martin H just comes up for Carolina, and he gets bumped off the puck by Jonas Siegenthaler. And now the Devils will go back. Siegenthaler now gets off the boards, tries to get it over to Timo Meier. Puck comes back the other way and back into New Jersey's zone. I feel like we've been at shots 20-17. Like, I feel like we've been there the last couple of chances. Oh, it's Jack Hughes almost got that pass from Timo Meier. That was a great attempt, but just couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, Devils need to score here. About 6 minutes left in the second here. And I was going to mention this too before Dylan brought this up, is that Connor McDavid hasn't played for a national team yet for Team Canada.
That shot there may have gotten through, but nonetheless, it didn't end up in the back of the net. Devils actually putting on a little bit of pressure here right now as Timo drops it to Hughes. Hughes throws it in front, but it gets blocked. And now Carolina looks like they can finally get it out, and they do. So the Devils again with some pressure, but not enough to get one past Anderson.
Yeah, they you got 5 minutes, man. You got to find a way. Again, it's not out of it if they can go into the third period down 2, but you want to be able to get some confidence going into the locker room, saying we're still in this, being down by 1 and all that. And a question that I feel like we haven't really touched on this all night tonight is, again, getting asked who comes out of the West tonight for either the Kraken, Stars, Golden Knights, and Oilers.
I'm still rocking with the Kraken. I'm dying on that hill tonight.
I feel like I do too.
I don't think it's that outlandish either, because
I totally agree.
Look, the Stars are definitely happy that they were able to even up the series, but they got to be looking at it like we should have won game 1 because we had them on the ropes and we let them win the game anyway. I think the Kraken are one of those teams that can just grind you out and can just surprise you, lull you kind of to sleep, and when you get caught napping, they're going to make you pay, and they've done that several times. Look at game 1, right? Look at game 1. Look how quickly the Kraken just scored several goals like that after going 10 minutes without doing anything. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And so that's what I'm saying. And I think that as much as you look at the rest of the talent that comes from Dallas, Vegas, and also Edmonton, talent doesn't always become the decisive factor or why you make a run. Look at Vegas, for example, in 2017-18. They didn't have the world's most talented roster, and they went all the way to the Cup final.
For sure. Yeah, and they had guys they've had guys before who have had, playoff experience, Stanley Cup winner Marc-Andre Fleury in net. I think the 2 things I'll say about Seattle is they were showing the stat that they have 4 guys who are Cup winners on that team alone, right?
Right.
It's either that or they have 4 guys alone who have playoff experience, but I'm pretty sure it's Cup winners. Anyway, not the point. My point is with Seattle is the most dangerous thing about a team is that if they don't have any pressure on them, they're the biggest team you should fear, right? Dallas has expectations because they've been to a Cup final. The Oilers have expectations because everybody's picking them to win the Stanley Cup this year. And Vegas knows too. Who knows how much longer their window might be open, right? Because they've been to a Cup final. They've been to conference finals, right? They've been there, done that. They know they have to get over this hump again. It's tough to get through Edmonton and all that. Seattle's got nothing to lose. They're playing with house money, and that's the team that's the most dangerous.
Very true. So, we'll see. We'll see how things progress as now both of those series shift to Edmonton and Seattle, respectively. Unless I'm missing something there. No, I think
it was supposed to be tonight for Edmonton and Vegas. But
game 2 is tomorrow. Okay, yeah, now I just remember that. There's a shot there from the Hurricanes. It's fought off by Schmid. Hurricanes try to dump it back in. They do.
Also, I love it. Like, I love how it's like, we're only gonna have 1 game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. I don't know what's going
on. 1 game tonight.
It doesn't even feel like it's. I really do think it has to do with the NBA. As much as I hate saying that, I feel like that's the problem. There's a shot there from McLeod, just goes wide of Anderson. And I'll tell you what, Kyle, one thing that's frustrating watching this right now, it seems like, again, the 4th line of the Devils seems to be the most productive line for New Jersey.
How many times have we said that throughout their entire run so far? Too many times.
Yeah, too many times. I mean, at some point, when are the core guys going to start scoring? Yeah, right, exactly. Wake up. That's a good point. So, right now, I look at this game and I say, Akira Schmid is the only one that looks like he came to play. as that puck bounces up into the left corner.
Meyer came to play.
Meyer did come to play. I think Meyer does have a little bit of that juice with him because he's trying.
Not to say that these guys haven't looked like as they're rushing up, as they're bringing it down into the Carolina zone. Not to say that they haven't shown up tonight, but it's just like they're not playing to their potential.
No, right now they look. This looks like a completely different team. And in game one, you could make a lot of excuses and say, well, they might be tired. It's been less than 48 hours since they won Game 7 against the Rangers. The Hurricanes have been soon, waiting around to play, blah, 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 and they're at home, all that stuff. But in Game 2 here, it just doesn't. It feels like nothing changed. It feels like nothing has improved.
I personally don't understand it. I don't get it.
It's weird.
I can't figure out this.
Shot there from the Hurricanes is stopped and covered by Schmid.
This isn't game 1 of the first round series. This is game 2 of your second round series. Clearly you guys can get there. But even when I feel like throughout that whole first round, I still feel like we weren't getting enough from your top guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree.
Right?
There were moments where Jack Hughes was certainly on his game and making plays. But other than that, no Nico. Nico was getting a bunch of assists, so he was involved in the play.
Right.
Jesper Bratt, again, getting a couple assists, involved in the play-ish. Dougie Hamilton, he scored the big overtime winner in Game 3, but other than that, offensively, not a whole lot. Andre Palat found his game at the end of the series, but if you look at it, if you want consistency, you're not getting it right now from the top guys. That's the way I look at it.
It's unfortunate, too, because they can do it. They can match up with these guys, but it matters when your top guys have to show up as another block shot.
Right, it's another block shot there. A couple Devils players screaming on the bench. I think they wanted something, not sure. As the Hurricanes will dump it into the zone with 3:20 to go in this second period. I know it's not the end of the world if they're down by 2 going into the third, but I think ideally, if you're the Devils, you would like to get at least one of the 2 goals back, especially the later you get in the period, the more momentum you're going to have going into the third period of play.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I 100%. You have to find something here as it's okay to be down 2 going into the third. The way this period has gone, man. They had a lot of pressure these last 6 minutes, but it's about executing.
No question about it. As now you saw just moments ago, Jack Hughes just missed on a pass there. And again, I don't even feel like Jack's trying to do too much. It doesn't feel like he's doing much of anything as Jordan Staal comes in with a backhand try and he scores! It's Jordan Staal going on the backhand, beating Akira Schmid, and it's 3-0 Carolina. I kind of like the song, I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of like the end of it.
I'm like sadly dancing right now. You see, I think Staal was on sides. I don't think there's anything on to me. But a nice backhand deke there, getting it past Akira Schmid. And Kyle, this is gonna be a dumb question to ask, but do you think Lindy pulls Schmid again?
No.
I mean,
no.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it's his fault again because you're letting Jordan Staal go in on his own, and it was a good move, but where are your defensemen there? Again, they're both sitting there at the top of the point, and they're just I'm sorry, this defense, this series has been terrible. Especially this game, they've let Akira Schmid out to dry this whole time.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. It just kind of feels like that the Devils right now just have no answer. They have no answer for anything.
What Matthew asks here.
Do you think this could be like what happened against the Rangers? I guess if you're talking about from the Rangers perspective, or the problem wasn't in the first 2 games. It never felt like the Devils were getting outplayed, especially defensively, this bad. It didn't feel like that.
Right. And maybe Dylan asks you a question here.
If the Devils get eliminated, you think they go out and acquire some bigger, heavier players as we get a penalty here? Stand by. I think it's against New Jersey. As it's Tomas Tatar, so things just continue to go from bad to worse in this one. As Tatar now goes to the box for that. He slashed Brent Burns on the stick. And
Oh,
so,
like, what are you doing, man? You're such an idiot.
oh, never mind. It's 4-on-4. Brent Burns also went to the box.
Okay, but still, it could be 5-on-4. If it doesn't have
I
to be
reckon, yeah, dumb. So it's, if we can bring up that question again from
Oh,
Dylan.
sorry. Yeah, here.
I didn't read the whole thing here. If the Devils get eliminated, do you think they go out and acquire some bigger, heavier players to sprinkle throughout the lineup? It's a really good question, Dylan. It really is, because the Devils, 3/4 of their roster is going to be either restricted or unrestricted free agents.
Right.
They could do a lot with that roster, whether it's through with prospects, again, even younger players who are, again, not as big as any, some guys like that. But I think they do have to get bigger and stronger and more physical, because right now, the physicality, I think, set the tone for this second period. I know it happened back in the first, but I think that physicality rocked the Devils, and now the Hurricanes are just taking advantage of a Devils team that is rattled right now.
Right. Yeah. The thing is they shouldn't be. Like, how many times we kept saying this where, like, oh, here, another good chance.
As it said, Jarvis backhand try, and
what?
They score? Oh, they did. Okay, so somehow no goalie interference. Brady Shea scores, and it's 4-0.
They have to look at that, right?
Well, the Revs are talking about it right now.
You saw him hesitating. He was like,
guys, the reason I reacted that way is because Akira Schmid got, like, bulldozed over by Jarvis.
Right.
He's clearly out of position. And, of course, Carolina scores an empty netter because he's out of position. Watch it again. Watch the replay.
They'll look at it here.
So good feed from Shea. Jarvis comes in, and I mean, I feel like that's goalie interference. No? Am I missing something? Look, his stick. Wow, wait a minute. His stick, like, grabs Akira Schmid. It kind of pulls him. Watch.
He pulls him aside, gives him no. So where's his stick? He's got it. He's trying to obviously get his stick back, but in the process, he's bringing Schmidt over. They did wave it off, so it's no goal. Jarvis is confused as all hell. That's what I thought, because I noticed the ref hesitated. He was like, no, I agree. That should have been, yeah.
No, and you could even see Rob Brindamore. He's not arguing it. No, he's not mad about it.
They understood. Even the players weren't even arguing about it. I was kind of confused. I'm like, that's going to get called back. Right?
Jarvis had a little bit of confused look for a second, but he's not really arguing it either.
But again, I was going to call you Dylan for a second there. I apologize.
It's that kind of night.
It feels like that. It could be 4-0 though right now still.
Could be.
It doesn't matter if it's at this point. It doesn't really matter if they scored that, really. What matters is they just put the puck in the net.
It doesn't really matter, because it already feels like the game is really out of reach with, again, the way the Devils are, just based on the way the Devils are playing. That's why it feels like that. As now a chance, Severson in front. That one is stopped on a slow tip from Holla. So at least the Devils got a shot there. But now a breakaway chance for Slavin. Good poke check by Schmid. And then Slavin hits the post. Opportunity. That shot is stopped. Rebound try. And they score. Martin Natchez on a second attempt beats Akira Schmid. And it's now officially 4-0 Carolina.
This Devils defense is
terrible.
Pretty bad.
Terrible.
Nobody.
Pretty bad is putting it lightly, Kyle.
Yeah, just seeing.
I mean, this was a goal twice. Watch, ding, and then again, watch, missed, and then he scored anyway. So, yeah.
I love Dougie Hamilton half-ass attempt of I'm just gonna lay down and see if I can block this shot. He goes down so slowly and stupidly too.
Yeah. Kyle, I'm gonna ask you a question again.
Pull him.
I think you pull him after the period's over.
Finish the period.
And honestly, Kyle,
not even his fault. I don't even blame him.
We talked about this during game one. I really wonder if Vitek Vanacek gets the nod in game 3.
He won't. He shouldn't. Why? What?
I'm not saying that's what I want or that's what I like. Okay. And I'm saying, I'm thinking what would Lindy think? What is he thinking as the period comes to an end? With it 4-0. By the way, if you're just joining us, or if you watched the first period and then you just jumped in, yeah, you missed a lot. As the Hurricanes, the storm surge, as they call it, it was alive and well in that second period as 4 goals come. 2 from Kotkaniemi. The third came from.
All right.
I'm blanking on the third goal.
I'm putting on my therapist hat here. I'll put it on like this for you.
Yeah, this has been a lot of therapy since the playoffs started.
Before we go to break, to answer your question, I know you mentioned about the goalies in the first place. Like, what about this game tonight tells me that Akira Schmidt's played bad? I don't think he hasn't played. He has been bamboozled tonight in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's it's your defense that can't cover a guy that's just kind of half-assing it. Like, we saw Hamilton there, like, lying down to try to block a shot. Like, I don't get what they're trying to do. And, like, even, like, just before they scored that fourth goal, like, they had the Devils man in front, and I get, like, when he shot it, it just kind of slid across the ice and just, like, it was a half-ass shot there. I know, right? That's a big word for me. But, like, you're right. Like, Anderson had a good first period, but there's been nothing happening this second for these guys scoring, like, chance-wise. And, you know, they're getting what they deserve, right? So I don't know if I can confidently say, Neil, that, like, because I imagine this might stay the way it's going to be as we've seen. Like it's kind of sad to think, like, we're going to this third period, like, with the Devils being – like, we kind of know already. Like, this is what they're showing us, and that's what we're going to expect in the third period, because that's what why would we expect anything differently from game one?
Right.
Are we going to see 5-1 again?
I'd like to think we probably will, considering that it feels like that. It's just like
anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kyle. You're finished.
No, I was just going to say, like, you can finish it up, and then we'll go into break.
I'm really, like, just disappointed. I keep going back to that word because I just expect a lot better. I'm not expecting the Devils to be dominating the Hurricanes and be up 2-0 in the series right now. Like, that's not what I'm expecting. I just am expecting some form of a fight. And through 5 periods of this series, I'm seeing none of that.
Right.
I'm seeing a team just get punched in the mouth with no response. If somebody gets rocked, nobody's responding. If they're getting blown out, nobody's doing anything to try to change any sort of momentum. And granted, sometimes when you're getting blown out, it's what it is. Maybe getting blown out is what this team needs. I mean, look, it's clearly what they needed against the Rangers, and they ultimately won in 7. The series is not over until the Devils lose a game at home. Because right now they're going to go down 2-0, unless the Devils have an unbelievable third period where the Hurricanes just implode. And they're probably not going to.
Right.
But anything can happen. The Devils are, let's just call it like this. The Devils are very much likely going to go down 2-0 going back to New Jersey. Right? I think we can say that pretty.
There's nothing I've seen so far that's going to say otherwise.
Right.
Which is it's just sad. It's sad to see the way that's happened. Anyway.
It is. The Devils, first of all, I'm not going to challenge the Devils fans because I know that they'll come out strong in game 3. Because, again, no matter how much worse this game gets, the result is going to be you're down 2-0 in the series.
Right.
The good news is you're going home, where you've won your last 2 games at home and shut out, gotten 2 shutouts in your last 2 home games.
Yeah.
You need to feed off the crowd like Carolina does. Carolina feeds off their crowd and runs with it. That's what they've done. They did it in game 1, and they're doing it very well here in game 2. Yep. For the Devils, I wonder if an ass chewing is needed right now going into the third.
Okay. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but you do you, Neil. Jesus.
I mean, no, it's more of like, I'm not saying like yelling and screaming. It's not, no, it's fine, Kyle. It's more of like, I feel like, I look at it this way, and then we'll go to commercial break.
Yep.
I just want a response in the third. We're not going to win the game, but if we can like maybe get a goal or 2, or 3 or whatever, and just make it look like that we were in this game from the start and go from there. Who's doing the chewing? Have you guys never heard this term? I feel like you guys
I've heard it before. Maybe not in that context.
in that context. No.
Oh, man.
I just want a response. I'm waiting for it from somebody, anybody, and I'll make this point actually after the commercial break because I feel like I'm just going to go on and on and on, and I have a lot more to say, and we will get to a lot more of your guys'
whole third period, man. Don't worry
We'll
about
have a whole third period as well. But before we continue on here, we're going to step aside for another moment to get another word from our sponsors. And welcome everybody here to the second intermission report of our game. Hurricanes. I don't know why I keep doing that. Devils Hurricanes. Eastern Conference semifinals, game number 2. It was no score after 20, Kyle. And now after 40, the Hurricanes have blown it wide open and are now 20 minutes away from what feels very much like a commanding 2-0 lead. To be as blunt as I can, the Devils have sucked through 5 periods of this series, while the Hurricanes look like the Stanley Cup favorites right now.
Yeah. It really could be 5-0 right now, considering, barring that disallowed goal. But man, I'll be your therapist again if you want. It's okay. I just feel like I feel differently about this series than what I saw in when they played the Rangers, just because I knew the Rangers had weaknesses for specific areas. We saw it on the power, they were obviously killing on the power play, and then they kind of shut down, and the spark you needed obviously was Akira Schmidt. So I don't know what your spark needs to be going into game 3. The issue that I have is with how dominant this Carolina team's been. I genuinely don't know if you're going to find them losing for their next 6 games or 7 or 5 games or whatever it is. You know what I mean? You're having flashbacks. Yeah. I just this team is not the Rangers by any stretch. This is a team that, they know that they should be winning this. This is a team that just knows they've been here before and they have to get over the second round hump because of also 69 views. Nice. Nice. And then I'll just finish it up though to give it to you. Just
sure.
I don't mean to be blunt. This is the way that I see it because what what inspiring things have I seen from this Devils team that's going to convince me otherwise going forward? Like, what's the spark that, like, maybe you're right. Maybe they go back to Vanacek for game 3. Maybe that's what you need going forward. And maybe that's part of their reasoning. I don't necessarily agree with it if that's going to be the case going back to game 3. But I mean, I don't see the hurt. Like, what is baffling me is that if I'm Lindy Ruff or anybody in that locker room, somebody's got to get their ass kicked. If I'm the GM, I apologize if I can't remember who it is. I'm going down there during the second intermission with some steel toe boots and kicking everybody's ass. Going, like, you're getting your ass kicked physically. Nobody's checking. You're playing half-ass defense. You're letting Akira Schmidt out to dry tonight, right? Yeah. I'm going in there with steel toe boots and kicking everybody's ass because we're paying you to do that. You're paying your top guys to do what? To have a 50-mile-per-hour shot on net that I saw at the end of that second period and expecting something to come out of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but there's nothing inspiring I'm seeing from this team. And I don't know who's going to be the person in the locker room to tell one another, like, wake the fuck up, guys. Finish your checks, get back to the fundamentals, right? It's about, not just throwing shots on net just because you feel like it. That's what we've seen for the first 2 periods. It's making more creative, unique chances. And again, going back to whatever was working during the regular season, because whatever happened, man, it's just been taken away tonight from, mind you, like, I can't say this is all the Devils' fault. This is clearly a Carolina team that knows what they're doing. They know what they're good at. They know their strengths. They got big body defensemen, defensive guys that can score. A lot of these guys on the team that can play 1 through 4th, 1 through 3 on defense, they can all score and play defense too, right? But it's just like, it looks like Carolina's playing for each other, and New Jersey just looks like they're just playing for, we'll try it. We'll just go out and try this period. We'll just see what happens. So I don't mean to bash you guys for that, but I don't see anybody going into game 3 or game 4 that I'm going to look at and go, yeah, he's the guy that can do it. Wow, that got dark real quick. Starting to bring the mood down. Jesus Christ. But go ahead. I'll let you have the
when the Devils got blown out in the first 2 games against the Rangers, and no, Kyle, they need an ass chew. Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. When the Devils got blown out in the first 2 games against the Rangers, I was very concerned because it wasn't like they were getting completely outplayed. There was weaknesses. Like you mentioned, there was things that the Devils could exploit. Through 5 periods, there's no exploiting of Carolina. There's nothing there. There's just nothing. Right. The goal that the Devils scored, Nate Bastian, that was by pure, just a small defensive breakdown from Carolina, and they never did anything bad like that again the rest of the game.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Right now, the Devils are getting beat physically. They're getting beat emotionally. They're getting beat mentally. And they're getting beat the most important aspect of the game, and they're getting their ass kicked on the scoreboard. I feel bad for Akira Schmidt because the kid is out there doing everything possible, and he's getting no help.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
No, not
the reason that I thought about going to VTech is the same reason that the Devils went to Schmidt in the first place. When you look at the first 2 games, it wasn't completely on VTech that the things transpired the way they did. There were many defensive breakdowns. There were so many times and what was the big thing? Why did the Rangers score that many goals? Mostly because they were on the power play. Is that VTech's fault that they were constantly taking stupid? No. That's just, again. So if the Devils were to go to VTech in game 3, the risk you take is this. The risk you take is really hurting Akira's confidence, which it may already be pretty hurt considering how game 1 went and how quickly he got pulled. And now game 2, and things have gotten worse, at least on the scoreboard for him. Lindy Ruff just got named a finalist for Coach of the Year, which, granted, that's a regular season award.
So did Jim Montgomery.
So did Jim Montgomery. That's true. If Lindy Ruff wants to show why he was considered a finalist, he better make some changes, not necessarily in the third period, although you can start now in the third. But you need to make them for game 3 in particular, especially knowing you're going home, because there are going to be, I know how this Devils fan base works. A lot of people are already believing right now that we're going to get swept. I already know how it works. And a lot of Devils fans said that after we lost the first 2 games to the Rangers. Devils fans are going to be there on Sunday, and they're going to be loud. The Devils need to take that energy and run with it. They're not going to get bombarded by Hurricanes fans. It's going to be 90% or more Devils fans. It's what it's going to be. I'm not knocking Carolina fans, but I'm just being honest. Yeah. I'm just being honest. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be more of a home ice advantage for New Jersey in this series because they're not dealing with a team that's less than 15 miles from you.
Right.
Right now, Jack, Nico, Brat, Dougie, Palat,
Timo,
top guys. Timo, I don't know. Timo as well. Although I kind of want to remove Timo from this equation because I feel like he has somewhat been there tonight. He's had a couple of decent chances.
No, I'm sorry. No, he hasn't shown up in the playoffs. He hasn't gotten a point.
That's the concern. I was going to bring that up. That was a good point.
You brought him here for that reason. He hasn't done poop. Yeah. I feel like I've been saying a lot of bad words tonight. So
right, I think right now, I don't want any of these guys on my team. With just like if this is what you're going to get from them in the postseason, if this is what you're going to get, they're not going to help. We could do as much damage as we want in the regular season. It's not going to mean anything when we get to the playoffs. Go ask every Leafs fan with this entire core that they have how much they really trust this core at this point. How many years has it been for them? It's been a lot. It's been a long time. Right. And now they're down 2-0 against Florida, going to Florida, and they're all probably thinking this is probably going to be it for this core. They're probably going to blow it up. Not completely blow it up, because they can't.
Matthews isn't coming back. If that's the case, continue.
There's going to be those type of situations. This is bad, what you're seeing from New Jersey.
Right.
This is not – the first 20 minutes, not too bad. You're not losing. You're not winning either, but you're not losing.
Yep.
Second period, you just let them do whatever they wanted. You had no response. You're not doing anything. Lindy's not calling a timeout. He's not doing anything on the bench to kind of get this team going and everything. By the way, in case you want to know, VTech is in net for the third period. I go back for VTech because this is the third time that this has happened where he has come in not because the team needs him to start, but because they're getting blown the hell out again. And the Devils so far in these postseason, when they lose, they get blown out. By the way, the third period started. Sorry.
And we will get to people's comments, but I think we just kind of needed to talk about what was happening. I just want to finish with this before you can kind of go on your commentary here. Yeah, very funny how you bring up the Leafs, because that's what I was going to do. What they were talking about yesterday was, how are the Leafs still at this point, with all their failures that they've had? The one thing that stayed so common with that team, and maybe you could say the same thing because I'm not sure how often they do this, the Leafs don't have a first line. They don't have a line where if you take, I'm just going to use Boston just because that's the best example that I know. But it was Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak. I get straight away from it, but they knew that was their first line throughout most of the regular season. I know they tried to change it up, but when they got to the playoffs, that was the line. That was, they know what their first line is because it's worked. Obviously, we saw the results, what happened in the playoffs.
With a shot that zips wide of the net.
Yeah.
The Devils putting on a little bit of pressure here to open up this period.
My overall point is that you can make as many changes as you want, but it's throwing off the players too much where you need to have some chemistry. Keep Jack Hughes with Timo Meier. If you like what you see there, keep it together and stop, because too many changes can hurt you. And that's going to screw up guys a little bit, because that changes the dynamics of that line. As New Jersey has a really good chance here, and Anderson, nice good save
there. Popped up. I mean, I kind of like, here's a good example of, like, I like this because the Devils are keeping the puck in the zone and just trying to get it on net, as Team Nico with a turnaround shot that gets fought off by Anderson. I mean, this is really good right now. I mean, this is really good. As soon as I say that, Carolina clears it. But that was really good a couple of times.
Let's go Wranglers.
I think Utica's about to get knocked out, by the way, in the second round. So, like, it's just not a good night for the Devils organization.
I'm going to kind of go back and look at the comments here, because I know we didn't really do that in the intermission. So I'm going to get a chance to do that to now. Jeff's saying it's just totally dominant tonight. You mentioned it earlier. Where's Bratt been tonight? He hasn't been a factor at all. Now you're calling for Lindy Ruff to maybe get fired. Not sure what to say, but go at break to those guys. What do you exactly, like, as a coach, what do you say to Bratt? What do you say to these guys? What can you say? You got to look at them and go, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Go home. If you guys don't, like, you guys clearly haven't shown it tonight, so go home.
This was the big. This has been the big problem. Like, I don't mean to, like, constantly get on Bratt in particular,
right?
But, like, think about this. Nico is signed long term. Jack is signed long term. Dougie is signed long. He's 20. Akira Schmidt. Yeah, no. Akira Schmidt is doing all of this at 22 years of age. The Devils have clearly found at least one part long term of their goaltending solution. I still think VTech is part of the long term plans. It's just like that's the way I look at it. Unless he, like, implodes next season.
Speaking of Jesper Bratt,
Merely Brahal and Lazar have been benched. Good for them.
We'll see as we'll kind of go through.
You know what? I don't get Lazar. No, I don't like that, because Lazar actually had, like, 2 decent chances in that. Like, Lazar has been fine. Why are we punishing a fourth liner? As now McLeod with an opportunity, dropped to the wood, and they score!
Hey, there
Miles Wood! He gets one past Anderson, and the Devils finally get on the board. It's 4-1.
Let's go. Let's fire me up and water me down, boys.
I mean, you look at the goal itself, right? That was a nice. I don't know if McLeod meant to do the drop pass. Let's see it again. No, he just lost the puck. Got to Wood. Miles Wood, which again, fourth line. That's the problem.
That's the issue. That should piss you off, shouldn't it?
It does piss me off.
Why is it your fucking line again?
Now, I'm not getting ahead of myself, because it's still a 3-goal deficit. But the thing that would make me laugh is if the Devils score another goal within the next 2 or 3 minutes and it's 4-2, and I'm just going to be like, don't do this.
Don't do this.
It's like one of those things. Like, it's like when it's like that meme that they say, like, don't give me hope. Don't make me think that it's possible.
Yeah. But again, that should piss you off again. Then it's the fourth line. If I'm Miles Wood, I'm fucking staring down right through Jack Hughes' eyes, right through Meier. I'm staring right at him going, yeah, I'm better than you right now.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't been throughout the playoffs, I'm going, I'm better than you tonight. How does that make you feel?
And I feel like Miles Wood has certainly been better since he got back in the lineup, and obviously he gets rewarded there with a goal. So good for him.
Honestly, I would be the type of player, if I'm Miles Wood, I would go right up to their faces and be like, I'm better than you tonight.
The funny thing is that Miles Wood has been there longer than those guys, so I feel like he could have the right to, like, say that, and nobody would argue with that.
Curtis Lazar, when he scored against the Rangers that one time, should have gone right up to them, even though they were winning, and obviously they were whatever, they got 3-2 in that series.
Right.
But, like, go up to them and be like, yeah, Meier, I got more goals than you right now in the playoffs. How does that make you feel?
Yeah. As Jacob Slavin with a shot that might have been fought off by VTech. As Carolina putting on a little bit of pressure here. I like this response from Carolina after giving up that goal.
I agree.
They're looking at it like, all right, let's not try to make this interesting here. Like, let's try to, like, wrap this up, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe they had
Maybe
a
they had a
few
few beers.
maybe.
Maybe that helped. Or it's margarita time, if that's what PJ is referring to.
I mean, it is Cinco de
Connor
Mayo, so yeah.
will manage the Wranglers. I'm not bringing up his autocorrect because I want that to sit there and make him look stupid for a couple minutes.
It's Jack Hughes with a shot that's fought off by Anderson. That was actually a pretty good shot from Jack. First time in a while we've seen him.
Somebody's got to be getting close here with a prediction, right?
Yeah, what, somebody? Let's see. I'm just like looking. I think Stoffel is pretty close. Yeah.
No,
right now Stoffel's the closest.
Right. Okay. Sorry, because
and Sean. Sean has 4-2 Canes.
Okay.
So, couple guys. I will say this. I'm just trying to remember what I was talking. Was I talking about Bratt? Yeah, I was talking about Bratt. The problem with Bratt, Kyle, is this. Sure. Bratt is a restricted free agent at season's end, and the Devils went until the last second to just sign a 1-year deal with him to avoid going to arbitration. The problem with Jesper Bratt is that – I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was agreeing, like saying, okay, I'm understanding what you were saying as I'm pouring a drink. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. I think we like froze for a second there. It's fine. That's how this night is going. That's how this night is going. But with Jesper Bratt, the problem has always been for the last handful of years the inconsistency. 1 minute he shows that speed and talent and he's flying all over the place, and the next minute he goes like 4 or 5 games in a row without doing anything.
Yeah, they just showed a stat there for Jack Hughes how he hasn't scored a goal in 4 games.
Jack is going to be held responsible as well. Like, where are you?
You're the guy that's getting paid most on the goddamn team. Why aren't you doing something, man?
Yeah. Timo Meier weaves his way through. That was actually kind of impressive. How does Timo still have the puck? Gets it over to Mercer, but just stick lifted away. That was actually, how did Timo do that?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Good for him. 13.
That's all I got. Wow, that's all I got. Literally, that's all I got to say about that.
Wow, that was
didn't fall to the goal or anything.
13 minutes left already in this game. Like that kind of went by pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just doing my little concoction here. Not a sponsor.
That was interesting. As a stick shatters, Devils got a 3-on-2. The fourth line again gives it to Severson. Drive, and that one is fought off by Anderson. Now Dougie Hamilton throws it. It gets blocked. Hurricanes getting to it now, trying to get it out. Puljujärvi can't. And finally, Slavin will get it lifted out. But again, Kyle, fourth line. Why is that? Why is the fourth line the only line that wants to play tonight?
Well, sometimes too, the fourth line is just known to be more of a physical line. I mean, that's kind of what it's been throughout hockey history. That's it's not a line particularly known for goal scoring. So I think that's probably why it shocks people the most. But I wish I can give an answer for you. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case. I really don't. I don't know if I have an answer for you for that, because clearly nobody else that you want, clearly nobody that else in particular that you're paying $8 million for wants to show up and score the goals. So that's why, again, I'm going to say it again. If I'm Miles Wood, I'm going right in front of Jack Hughes' face going, I'm having a better night than you. And frankly, I've been having a better series right now than you.
Right now, Nate Bastian is the best player on the Devils.
What I want is at Devils practice tomorrow, whenever they do it, somebody should fight.
Good. That might not be a bad idea.
If I'm Miles Wood, I'm going right up to Jack Hughes and dropping the gloves.
Why not?
Fuck it. Or Meyer. Maybe he needs another bruise or something, right?
Yeah,
show them that they care.
On the other eye.
But seriously, why are they not they should honestly be arguing with each other at practice if they want to show that they care. Right. No, but you know what they'll do is they'll go back and work on skill development probably. It looks
they'll try to work on the power play that's not going to do anything because their power play doesn't do anything. I mean,
no, there's not vodka.
Is there vodka with the? I don't think so. It's not an opportunity for the Canes, and that one is saved by Vanacek. Rebound try is fought off by Vanacek. I know that it's
as I say that I spell shit.
Oh boy, I think that's just kind of like the night that we're having tonight here, ladies and gentlemen. So rally towels are out. Hurricanes fans really on their feet right now. Freddie Anderson plays it over to his teammate, and the Hurricanes are able to get it out. Severson gets to it at center ice. Backhands it over to Mercer. Mercer gets around over to Lazar. Lazar with a shot. That would have stopped. Rebound try is denied by Anderson. And then we get both guys going down to the ground. Curtis Lazar.
Finally.
Can't tell someone else. Oh, is that Chatfield? Yeah, it's Chatfield.
But again, like, if I'm the Devils, why don't you just push a guy? Not to a point where it's going to get you a penalty, but I don't know, stick a finger in a guy's nose. I don't know, do something.
Do something. Yeah. Do like a Brad Marchand, just lick the guy.
Right? Do something at this point. Literally anything.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the Devils just want this game to end, if I'm being honest. I don't think they really think that they can come back. I mean, if we're already halfway through the period, if they had gotten another goal, if within a minute or two after the Miles Wood one, then I think maybe they would look at it it's definitely doable.
Right.
But I think now at this point, it doesn't feel like that they're making a comeback.
Yeah.
So, but the 5-1 possibility again is still very much up, still very much there.
They'll pull the goalie, they'll get an empty netter, and it's going to be 5-1.
I hope Lindy doesn't do that because we don't need that again.
I'm going to piss myself if that's the case. It ends up being 5-1 tonight. I haven't looked a lot at Flash score tonight. What's one stat that really jumps out to you here?
Let me
on either side.
Let me bring it up on my side. Just looking.
Oh my god. Actually, sorry, go down. I was just seeing power play percentage.
The thing about it is that a lot of this stuff seems relatively even.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. If it's all even, what's the one thing then that stands out to me stats-wise?
Defensive breakdowns.
Yeah.
But that's not a stat. They won't have that on.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stat that they don't bring up. Defensive breakdowns has been the only reason this game is the way it is. It's just rough. It's really rough right now because the Devils are going to go back home with not a lot of, I don't know where the confidence at, if there is any right now. I don't know where it is.
You know who's one guy I'm surprised who's been quiet this series? Andre Palat.
Yeah, Palat has really gone silent again.
Yep. For a guy who's known to be playing very well in the playoffs, and I don't want to sit here and nitpick each guy because Palat did his work in the first series.
By the way, the Devils are on a power play.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. They're on the. Somebody can comment what happened. I think we missed it.
No, did someone comment that? I don't think so.
If somebody could, that'd be great because I think we missed that completely.
I would like to see the Devils score on this power play just to have some form of confidence that they scored on the power play. Which, I mean, I don't know. I got to be honest with you, Kyle. I think it's time to do what Lindy did against the Rangers and make drastic changes again.
But I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
I mean, it didn't feel like the right thing to do in Game 3 against the Rangers, but it worked as a 2-on-1. Short-handed Brady Shea over to Aho, and he missed him. I think Shea should have shot
you got to shot that. Yeah, you should have shot that.
Yeah, Shea missed that one. Timo Meyer with a shot. That is fought off by Anderson. No rebound. But a good shot there from Timo Meyer, and then the Hurricanes clear.
Roughing. There's your answer. It's for roughing.
Thank you, Chandler. Appreciate it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to – I don't know if – I think at this point Luke Hughes can play. I don't mind. I really don't. I didn't mind it earlier when people were suggesting it.
I think he's got to play. Who on that?
Maybe it brings a spark. Maybe it's like a Cale Makar thing. Probably not, but you never know.
Who on that defense? I would put Luke Hughes on. I don't know if it works on sides, but with Dougie Hamilton.
People were suggesting that, yeah. Dougie and Luke.
Honestly, you could take anybody out for the Devils on defense, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, even John Marino tonight. Awful.
I was going to mention Marino earlier, where there was, I don't know who it was in front of the net, but Marino was, so you have it was Akira Schmidt, there was a guy in front, and then there was Marino. And he's just letting the guy behind him do whatever he wants. And Marino's just watching the play like, oh, yeah, there's nobody in front. I got him covered if I need to, blah, blah, blah. And like, there's no, like, trying to push him out. Like, clearly he's getting in the way of Akira Schmidt, and he's not doing anything about it. Or he wasn't doing anything about it.
Wasn't doing anything about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, so the Devils' power play is up, so they didn't really do much of anything with that.
Shocker.
I know, right? Shocker, exactly. So the Devils have it just out of the reach of Mercer. Marino keeps it in, wrap it around the boards. Now Mercer's going to try to get to it. And the Hurricanes bounce it out of the zone. Yes, they do get to it. So now they'll I think if you're the Hurricanes at this point, you don't have to really be that aggressive. I think it's just like just don't get anybody hurt
right
in the last 8 minutes, because the chances of a comeback is very slim at this point.
Right.
You just don't want to do anything that's going to even come close to giving the Devils momentum as McLeod gets around, shot, but he couldn't get it. He actually couldn't get the shot off. But
good try.
Michael McLeod is by far the best player on the ice for the Devils tonight. That's the third time I've seen him make a play like that.
Yeah, he's been doing good on the faceoffs too. That's probably why their numbers have been so up. Like, they're pretty even with Carolina on the faceoff draw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers, right? Without the score, and you say, pretty even game. Then you look at the score and you look and you say, what on earth is going on? And the two most likely candidates are going to be goaltending, defensive breakdowns.
I can't even say goaltending, to be honest. Like, I'm
just saying that's what typically people look for. It's like goaltending or defensive breakdowns. And tonight, it's just been defensive breakdowns.
Yeah. It wasn't Schmidt's fault tonight. It's not Vanacek. Vanacek's been fine for this period.
Hasn't given up a goal. There's that.
That's going to be interesting to see. Like, how do you let Kotkaniemi, like, sit there in front, play with the puck, and then I'll shoot on net. Nobody pushes him out of the way. Like, knock him off the puck, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as much as, like, we've been bashing on the Devils tonight, you got to have Carolina credit, man. It's a good team.
No question.
And I think if the Devils are going to find a way to win this series, it's going to take a hellacious effort again. Yeah. And here we are again, Neil. Here we are again. We're back.
Same story 2 weeks later.
Same shit right. 2 weeks later. So I'm kind of shocked it's worked out that way, right? But I don't know. It's either going to go two ways. Either they're going to get swept, which I hate to say to you, Neil, or it's going to go 7 games.
I think if they lose game 3, I think they'll get swept, because I think at that point they will, and it will depend on how that game goes.
Right? If they lose one at the Rock, the series is over. I hate to admit.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I just said it before. The series is never over until you lose a game at home. Then you start to think about.
That's right.
So,
and here, Stoffel in the comments section, man. Rod Brindamore is such a good head coach, man. He has these guys ready to go most nights here in the playoffs, especially these first 2 games, man. He's had this team ready. And when there wasn't anything happening in the first period, clearly there was adjustments made at that intermission. And he knew that, we can break this. We know that we can break this game wide open because we just did it last game. And there's a reason why they can do it again. So, schedule going forward for those of you who don't know. So 1 game tomorrow night, Oilers and Golden Knights at 7:00 on TNT. You got Carolina in New Jersey, game 3 Sunday.
Breakaway chance for Jesper Bratt. And he just got his reach. Backhand try. That one just gets fought off by Anderson. Now a breakaway chance for Jordan Martinook. All in a lone shot. And he scores. Jordan Martinook going top shelf, beating Vitek Vanacek. And it's that score.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There you go. What kind of a pass was that, Neil?
What the one that resulted in Martin breakaway?
I'm just gonna.
That was what I call I don't really give a shit. I'm just hoping that something happens.
What on earth was that pass at the point where he's like spinorama and it wasn't even a hard pass. It looked like he fanned on it and just gave it to Martinook. And again, This is not Vanacek's fault. This is not Akira Schmidt's fault. It's the bullshit defense that you guys have had tonight.
I agree. And it sucks in that moment because we just made a long pass to Bratt and it was just out of his reach. And then
sorry, go ahead.
5 seconds later, we make a stupid pass that leads to an easy breakaway chance for Martinook and he doesn't miss.
I think Donnell's right here.
No respect, the Islanders I totally agree with this. Because you know what's interesting? Look at game 2, right? So the Hurricanes dominated game 1 against the Islanders, right?
Right.
Game 2, close game, goes to overtime, and now it's 6-1. Sorry, it's 6-1. Stefan Nason, the former New Jersey Devil, gets one on a 2-on-1. If we weren't doing this live watch along, I would have turned this off already.
Well, no, we have to. It's entertainment purposes for the last.
No, I'm not turning it off. No, I'm just saying if I wasn't doing this, I would be turning it off. This is what I'm trying to say. What was I saying? Okay, it's game 2 for the Islanders. They went to overtime.
Why was Marino pinching there?
Because I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Ball's sitting there doing this with his stick. Nothing that he can't do, I understand, but where's Marino on that play? Yeah. Why is he so far up?
Yeah.
John, I don't care who gets benched. Luke Hughes has to come in. Somebody else has to come in. But, tonight was more about the Devils than it was. I learned more tonight about the Devils than I did Carolina. I know what Carolina can do.
I like this. Insert Principal Skinner pathetic meme. Yeah.
I wish we could put memes on here. That'd be funny.
Yeah, pathetic. But going back to what I was saying before, so the Islanders got to overtime and I forgot who got stick. Somebody got hit in the face, the mouth.
Also,
it was right in front of the ref and they didn't call it. And then seconds later, Carolina scores.
Right.
And they go up 2-0.
Martin
that was more of a fight. Think about I'm sorry.
Sorry, just saying Martinook really makes this team he is the glue for this team. I would argue.
Oh yeah, dude, he's the emotion he brings and everything. He's such a valuable part of that team. Yeah. By the way, there are 12 different Hurricanes in this game with a point tonight. So keep that in mind. Not like it matters, but I just wanted to mention that.
That is wild.
The Islanders were a overtime goal away in Game 6 from going 7 with the Hurricanes. But every game was a dogfight. It was not an easy series for Carolina. It was not. Carolina had to fight tooth and nail to get through it. They lost Teravainen during that series. The Devils threw 2 games. Well, it's going to eventually become 2 games.
I thought they lost Teravainen before the playoffs.
No, he got slashed during.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
I want to say it was game 2. I don't remember. It was in Carolina. He got slashed on the hand and.
Okay.
And,
Sorry, I thought it was before the playoffs. Continue. Yeah.
No, you're fine. They're going to commercial break again. Through almost 2 games, the Devils look like they have no business being in the playoffs right now. That's the way I look at it.
Kind of feels that way. But you said a lot of words there in your statement there, dog fight, fight, words.
Words.
But just fight.
Fight.
There's no fight with these guys. Do you feel more down about this now or game 2 in the first round?
This.
Okay.
This is worse. Because
there's expectations now.
Here's why.
Okay.
In game 1 against the Rangers, there were times during the game where it felt like the Devils were doing throughout the game. It felt like the Devils were still pushing and it was Shesterkin making saves and we're not getting any past them. Game 2, the Devils scored first, got the crowd going, took a bunch of penalties, and then never recovered.
Right.
And again, Shesterkin playing on his head. So you can look at those 2 games and say, while it is very disappointing, the Rangers have shown that they can be beat. They're showing it.
Right.
What have the Devils done through almost 6 periods that's going to make me believe that they can figure out how to beat this team? You know what I mean?
I don't see it. I really don't. Yeah, but like also too, what is kind of scary is that even if they can win 2 games at home, you the only way you're gonna get by these guys, you have to win there.
You want a good example of that?
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example of that. Look at Boston last year against the Hurricanes.
Yeah, exactly.
They got beat down every time. Every time they went to Carolina. But every time they went back to Boston, they just were kicking their rear ends. But the second it got to game 7, you knew Boston wasn't going to win.
Right.
Because they hadn't done anything in Carolina.
Right.
So the Devils look at it like the Devils will have a lot of confidence, clearly, if they win the next 2 games. And it's 2-2.
Sure.
But the mindset is going to be, again, can you win in Carolina? You were the best road team in the NHL. Right now, you look like the worst team to ever play on the road in the NHL.
Right.
You got to win a game on the road if you don't have home ice. You have to win at least one. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 minutes left in this game, but I feel like it's not even worth it. I think we should spend more time.
You want me to just not have this up?
There's no point. There's no point. We'll let you know if there's a goal, right? But I think
we'll let you know. It's 6-1. And if you're not watching, I don't blame you necessarily. I mean, if you're still, we had 65 people in here, which, by the way, I just want to take a moment, again, as always, to say thank you to everybody for sticking with us, even through another blowout. I know it's not easy, but again, there's only so much that we can control as the people who cover the game. There's nothing we can do.
100%.
So, it's just how it goes. But thank you to everybody who's just hanging in with us. Really do appreciate it. I did see one comment that was really nice.
Bring it up.
It was from Connor. I don't know if you shared it earlier. He said, "Man, Neil, kudos to you for sticking this out. I had given up and left the stream." I know a lot of people that would have. Sure. There's no question, but I love doing this. No matter what the situation is, I love doing this because I really enjoy broadcasting games and feeling like I'm at the game, like doing it. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And Kyle knows this, and a lot of guys at the network know this. Just the opportunity to call Devils playoff games was exciting for me in general. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of blowouts, and that's not fun. But there's also been a lot of really good moments. And who knows? The Devils may have a lot more great moments ahead of them in these playoffs. But through these first 2 games, outscored 11-2. So
it says a lot, though, like how dedicated you are with this team. And that's something that you have to admire, right? And that's why, it's not just like, yes, it's frustrating, and I totally get it, but trying to figure out what's going on and just trying to understand it a bit more too, I think is nice to just kind of bounce off that feedback, and just having these important conversations too is important, right? Just to understand what's going on, right? Like why it happened this way, why Carolina's just been so good throughout both of these games. I think Connor I was actually going to bring up another comment that Connor brought up, and then Stoffel right after, but he thinks this series is over. No, but Toronto,
yes, Toronto. I definitely think that series is over.
I can't say that either, though, because I say that with every single series. It's not over until you win the 4th game.
That's true.
You can't I've said it before in the past. Of course, I just said it this stream where I think the Leafs aren't going to win this series because I hope they don't. Okay, my point is that you have to win 4 games. It's the same for every goddamn team. Every round that you go, seeing the Devils get beat after elimination.
I'm like, wait, are you insulting the Devils? Or are you just happy that the Rangers got? I'm like so lost by this.
If you're a Ranger fan, I mean,
fine, you can keep the. I don't care. I'm just like,
you're the one at home watching this on the couch anyway. They got their 56-degree out playing the second hole, probably on whatever golf course they're at.
Yeah, whatever.
My point was,
look,
is that the series is not over. The Leafs series isn't over, right? Whatever happens if Vegas goes up 2-0 in that series, God forbid that series being over. my point is that you have to win 4 games. That's for every team who makes the playoffs through every round. Doesn't matter where you're at. And for people to jump ahead like the Leaf fans yesterday who were all down on their team now because, oh my God, it's over. And I don't know how you were feeling, Neil, about these guys, because everybody can feel like the Devils act like this series is over. But as an unbiased person right now, because they're not playing, it's never over. How many times have we seen it before where a team has been down 3-1 or down 3-2 or down, God forbid, 3-0? Maybe not a lot. But it's happened, right? It's happened before, right? It's not over because you have for the guys, they have to go out there and perform every single game. It's never going to be given to them. Carolina, you're right. They can roll up and go 3-0 up in this series, but they have to earn that 4th game. They have to earn that 3rd game. They could be up 10-1 right now. They had to earn both these games in games 1 and 2, and they have. And give them kudos, like hats off. They've done a fantastic job, and they look like the team that may end up winning the Stanley Cup this year because they're that good, and I think they're that complete, even with the losses of their stars that they had.
Yeah, no question.
So, yeah, like just, you can't give up hope. I remember when these guys were playing Edmonton last year, and I kind of knew after like the series was tied 1-1 that we weren't going to win this series just from what I saw. But even like it was a weird thing when we were down 3-1, I was just like, man, all we got to do is win this one game. We're in game 6, right? Like it's crazy to sound like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't give these guys a shot in hell after, I think it was game 2 when they played, and I had to give them a shot to win that series, and deservingly so. But it was just this weird feeling where I'm like, man, they can find a way to win this here as there's 1 minute left in the 3rd here. And I think that's my point to you, Neil, is that like as bad as it's gone, it's 2-0, and you have to win 4 games. You got to earn every single game, and that's exactly what it's going to take for the Devils to get back in this series. You got to go home, and you got to earn every period that you're on the ice, and you got to earn it as you go forward.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean,
so, anyway,
tonight, you were. I felt. I mean, I'm not. If you guys won't believe me, but I really did feel like the Devils were going to have a better response. Through 20 minutes, it felt like they did, but they end up being even worse than they did in game 1. And now, I mean, their season is not on the line.
Game's over,
but now they go home down to, again, Devils Nation is right now in terms of confidence about as low as it can be after getting beat up. It would be one thing, again, if they lost these 2 games 2-1 or 3-2, you'd say, yeah, sucks we're down 2, but we've been in these games and we've been right there.
Right.
This has not been the case. This has been Carolina beating you up and just making you look awful.
Sure. Yeah.
And so
just before you continue, I just wanted to bring this up because it's important.
Well, the game just ended, so I mean, go ahead.
Just real quick before you can take the floor afterwards, but I just wanted to mention this real quick, is that, yes, of course it doesn't look like the Devils have it. I admit it. It looks like they might not win this series, and fine. That's what it might be. My point is that it's another point is that it's the playoffs and anything can fucking happen, man. Anything can happen. You might not have the energy for these first 2 games and look like dog crap. Look what happened against the Rangers. They went on to win in game 7, right? So it can change like that, right? And they might not have the energy tonight. You know what, Neil, as your therapist, they might have the energy in game 3, which I'm hoping for you is what we see. But like, that's the thing. Like, I can understand, and I'm not one doubting that these guys don't have the energy tonight and yesterday, whatever game 1 was, that to win this series. But things can change so quick in the NHL. It's what we've seen over and over again, and that's something you have to hang your hat on. So, yeah, 6-1 is the final score, so it wasn't 5-1, but I mean, it doesn't really matter what it would have been. So
right?
I think I'm just frustrated more with this team because they're good enough in the sense that I want to see a close game. That's all I want. I just wanted to see close games here because I thought this was going to be a good series so far, and it hasn't been that. And I apologize for that because I know that's not what you want to hear, but I'll kind of let you finish it up. We'll finish with the comments and then we'll
no worries.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle really nailed it on the head with a lot of what I was going to bring up. You know, there isn't much really else to say except the Devils really should be ashamed of themselves because not only did they lose, they just got beat badly.
Yep.
I mean, in my opinion, at times worse than what they did against the Rangers. This is the team that you could not get past and win the division against, and you only lost to them by a point.
Right.
And now you are in a position where you're down 2, just like you did against the Rangers. The only difference is you're going home. You're going to be in front of a raucous crowd that Devils fans so badly want to get back in the series. They're going to bring it on Sunday afternoon. They're going to bring it. I know they will.
This team's not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
No.
They're bringing the same type of shit that they brought the first 2 games.
Yeah,
so it's going to take a hellacious effort to be.
Nobody's worried about are the Hurricanes going to look different in New Jersey.
Not this team.
Everyone's going to look to what are the Devils going to do with their backs against the wall again? Are they going to show up or are they going to lie down this time? The one thing that I keep going back to is this. When the times have gotten tough this season, at some point, the Devils answer the bell and they respond. Do they respond starting on Sunday?
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice because if you don't, within by next Wednesday, you'll be done and you'll go out with a whimper.
Right.
And that would be kind of a tough way to end the season. But again, it's only 2 games. I hate to say it's only 2 games, but Kyle brought it up. The series isn't over until someone wins 4 games. And Carolina cannot make it to the conference finals winning 2 games.
I would be saying the same thing if the Devils were up 2-0 in the series too.
I agree.
Right? Doesn't matter who's up 2-0, whatever. I would be saying the same thing over and over again. You got to win 4. I don't care if you're up 3-0. We've seen it happen too many times in the past where you've been up 3-0 and you let the other team back into the series because the 4th game is always the hardest to win because you have to earn every single game every time you step on the ice. And clearly the Hurricanes showed it. They wanted it more. They earned it because of who they are. They haven't had to change a lot because they know who they are. And the Devils, we'll see what changes they have to make.
We will see. But obviously nothing really changed for the Devils in this one in terms of performance. Carolina may possibly looked even better in game 2.
Right.
And like Kyle said, we'll see what happens when we get to game 3 on Sunday. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all. As always, Kyle, go ahead.
Who was close prediction-wise? I don't think we...
prediction. I think someone actually might have predicted
6-1?
Might have been pretty darn close. Let me see this here. Wow.
New Jersey forwards looking to score. Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier, Nico Hischier. Bratt's got 1 goal, and the other 2 don't have a goal.
Shout out to Stoffel. He was that close. He was that close. He said 6-2. I'll give you that. So Stoffel, man, good for you, dude. Good for you.
Cool.
I forgot what your prediction was. You said
I was like 5-3 Carolina.
5-3, yeah. But again, guys, thank you as always so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you guys so much. So much fun doing this every time, even if the result goes the way that it is. We still have a lot of fun here. As always, guys, don't forget to like this stream. Also subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified of new live watch-alongs that we do here. We will have one tomorrow night.
Yes, we do.
Which one is that again?
It's Oilers Golden Knights, and it'll be Lance from the Brew Jackets on one of our podcasts doing that. Game 3, I think we're going to skip because you're going to be at the game, and I won't be available on Sunday. So
I think we'll be back for Game 4.
We'll be back for Game 4. So I think that's again,
Pretty-
life happens. You're at the game.
Right.
You'd rather be at the game than sometimes doing these streams, so it's understandable.
Of course.
Then just for upcoming streams, guys, Monday will be jam-packed because we have the draft lottery Monday night, which I will be hosting with 2 other people, so make sure to check that out at 8 o'clock Eastern on Monday. And then I believe there's a game right after that. I think it's Oilers Golden Knights right afterwards. It's the only game that's happening Monday night. And then we will be back for Game 4 between the Devils and the Hurricanes. So hopefully we can come back to a Game 4 where it's not 3-0 because I feel for you. That's why I'm saying that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we're at, though, the way the series has looked. But I'll let you close it out there.
Yeah, but again, as always, guys, follow the Hockey Podcast Network on all social media platforms at HockeyPodNet. Go check out all the podcasts here on the network. We have a podcast really for every team. We have sometimes several podcasts for one team. And yeah, I was about to mention Kyle. It seems like every day he's getting in 2 or 3 new guys. I'm actually friends with a bunch of podcasts that were originally not part of the network, now are. So it's great to see that. Sticks in the Six, by the way, I think just joined. So that's awesome. I've known them for about 2 years now. So it's great that they're joining the network. Cool. By the way, thank you, Connor, for the $2.20 Canadian. Did I say that right? Canadian.
Connor, you got to work on your English too. I noticed 2 or 3 times now you were messing up your English. You better go get a dictionary. But I appreciate the donation. Thank you. We
appreciate the donation nonetheless, Connor. Thank you so much. But check out all the podcasts. You can check out my podcast, Devil State of Mind podcast, wherever you listen, Apple, Spotify, Google, anywhere. We usually have episodes out every Monday and Thursday, but during the playoffs, we'll have an episode out the day after every game. So I feel like this one's going to be very short. I would agree. To be talking for more than maybe 10 minutes because there's not much to evaluate. There's not much to really say. And I don't think going on a rant is going to do anything because it just isn't worth doing. But if you're on Apple or Spotify, do me a favor and drop a 5-star rating on either. It really does help out the channel. And also you can follow us on Twitter at Devil State, Instagram at Devil State of Mind, and give us a like on Facebook as well. Kyle, any last parting words before we sign off for the night?
I know we'll get a good game. I know we're going to get a good game coming up. Regardless of where it's going to go, it's going to come. Whether it's game 3 or 4, whatever, we're going to get a good game coming up, and we're going to enjoy it. So have a lot of fun, though. I hope you just enjoy it on Sunday. It's at a great time, too, like middle of the afternoon, so it should be fun.
3:30.
Just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it.
I will. I have no doubts about it. First time in 5 years that I get to see a Devils playoff game in New Jersey. So I'm just really looking forward to that and being in the building. And I know I'm going to do everything I can to help this team, cheer them on and hope they find a way to get back in the series. And for the Devils, it's just taking it one game at a time. You're not going to get back in the series off of one game, but you got to focus on that one game and make it like your last. Play it like it's a game 7. You do that, you're going to get back in the series very quickly. Don't worry about game 4. Don't worry about game 5 and onward. Just focus on game 3 back in New Jersey. Fly back, take a deep breath, and say, okay, forget about these 2 games. We were awful. We got to fix a lot. But we got to do the little things right, and we got to feed off our crowd. And so we'll see what happens. But again, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you in the next live watch along. Once again, the final score, Carolina Hurricanes with another dominant win as they blow out the New Jersey Devils by the final score of 6-1 and take a big 2-0 series lead, with now the series shifting to New Jersey. Everyone continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as we always say at the end of every live watch along, make sure to rock on.